Okay, going live in 3, 2, and 1. Welcome to the 32nd episode of the ESOU podcast with me, as usual, is Olibeau, and today we have a very special guest. Her name is Kassandra, and she is from PCNA. And I guess, usually we let people introduce themselves. If you'd like to introduce yourself to the podcast, Kassandra.
Sure. Thanks for having me. I'm Kassandra, and I'm better known as Kassandra86 in game. Like you said, I'm on PCNA, and I am the guild leader of the Ninja Squirrels.
Are you leaving a guild out? I think there's the Samurai Squirrels too, right?
So I don't actually lead the Samurai Squirrels. That's a fun myth, I guess. I used to, but I am no longer the leader of that guild. I am an officer in that guild, so I do represent the Samurai Squirrels as well, though.
Is there a difference in ownership?
There is. King of Gutters is the GM of the Samurai Squirrels, and so he's one of my officers, and I'm one of his, and he kind of runs the show over there. I help with little things here and there, but it's mostly him, so there is a difference of ownership.
Okay, interesting. Usually when, I guess my experience in a lot of trading guilds, especially when they have, I don't know how to describe this, it's usually ultimately owned by one individual, if that makes sense. Like, some trade guilds or conglomerates in the past have always been owned by one or two individuals. That makes sense. Like, if I'm in a guild called, the Nefas Squirrels, right? And then I would make the Nefas Samurai. It'd be like, okay, well, it's kind of understood that they have a general ownership, like the same ownership. And then, like, the Gaming Council, I think, has, like, 2 guilds, right?
Sure.
And I think there's another one, right? Conquest of Tamriel.
There's a few of them. Conquest, I think Spicy, even Lucian, a bunch of them do. And I used to be the owner. There used to be a loophole where you could be the owner. And I know a lot of these other guilds, they just make a second account and they have their alt over there as the leader. So when I was the leader, the loophole of it was that you and a friend create another guild, and because only one person can be the leader of any guild trading anything, and then they would leave the guild, and then the game would force whoever was left as GM. So that was the loophole that everybody was using, so that their main could be the GM in every single guild. But when they switched it, it's been a few years now. When they switched it, we kind of sat back, and it's nice to not have to do the day-to-day runnings of 2 large guilds like that. So hats off to anybody that is still doing that. I am not.
Okay. Yeah. So it's like you're okay. So who's the owner of the IP, or is it just like a partnership?
It's a partnership.
Okay, that's interesting.
That's a better word.
Okay.
I mean, who picks the squirrels?
Who accepts guildies?
I don't know, like who chose the squirrel name?
Wow, that's an even more interesting topic.
Oh.
So I'm not the original GM. I have been the GM for many, many years, but yes, I am not the original. So I didn't choose the name. I chose the name for the Samurai Squirrels because we wanted to keep it the same, and there'd be some recognition between the two, and people would know, okay, those 2 guilds are kind of the, one and the same. So we kept it the same, but the Ninja Squirrels originally was owned by another gal, and then here I am. I think I took over, oh goodness, let's see. The guild was founded in 2015, the Ninja Squirrels was, and I took over, I joined the guild in 2016 and took over probably the end of 16, so.
Okay.
I think Ollie's asking because he has an obsession with squirrels. He loves squirrels.
I don't have an obsession with squirrels. They're okay. I don't mind.
That's your favorite animal.
They're fine. Like, they're quite cute, but I'm not obsessed.
Okay. Sure.
That's just because when I got affiliate, I was like, oh, I got some emote slots. What do I do? And I grabbed the nearest plushie near me and took a picture of it, and then that became an emote. And then, yeah. No, other people seem to enjoy the squirrels more than I do. I don't mind them. They're fine.
lot of people join the guild for the name. I've heard that time and time again. So
it's a fun name.
Yeah.
So what's your story in terms of like ESO? When did you start playing?
I played in beta.
Okay.
So I played in beta, and I think there's a lot of us that played back then, and then we took a break and came back. My break was about a year. Maybe not quite, but almost, and came back. And Ninja Scrolls was the first game or first guild that I joined. Got to know the leader really well and joined the ranks of being an officer and helping out, and then kind of joined other guilds. And most of them were trading. I do have a PvP guild in there, but I've kind of always liked the trading aspect, and there's still a huge social aspect to it too. So I know we're a trading guild first and foremost, but there's a lot of social, just hanging out, having fun, doing all that stuff.
Yeah. Was like trading and economy something that you did in video games before, or was it new for you in ESO?
It was new. I mean, before ESO, I think I played Super Mario Brothers when I was a child, so
game,
I am not. I am not or maybe Dunk Kong, but I am not an MMO kiddo that played for a very long time. So ESO is my first step into that, and I just liked it. I liked every aspect of it. I liked making that gold and having fun doing it. So.
So I think Ollie, you also played since beta too, right?
No, I started like just when Imperial City came out.
Oh,
so,
okay. I thought you were okay.
Spring, summer.
So I guess you don't remember this, but guild traders were not always in the game. I think they were added with like update 1 point something.
Right.
Yeah. And it's always been like a very controversial, not controversial, but divisive subject about traders. A lot of people in ESO want a global auction house, as opposed to specific guild traders owned by specific guilds. What are your thoughts on that, Kassandra, as like a trade GM?
I've played other games since playing ESO. I've played WoW. I've dipped my foot in New World when it came out, and I understand the concept of having the one auction house and opposed to all these traders, and I get why people think that's a unique and better idea, but I kind of like what ESO has going. It's competitive. It makes it fun. Starting off, we're in Mournhold to Sean now, but we weren't always, and so we were just a little baby guild with a few people, and it made it fun to try to competitively move up the ranks, and I kind of like it. I don't know, maybe I'm
I think I agree with you.
I respect
yeah, it's like it's harder to control the market when there's auction houses spread between different locations. You can't just have someone come in and buy every single one item really easily and hike up the price. So I think it makes it a little bit fairer for players.
Well,
you can shop around for bargains. Well, I guess with you get add-ons now, don't you, where you can automatically see where something is listed for sale.
Right. I think Tamriel Trade Center has been playing a huge part, at least recently, or not more recently anyway, in terms of like people being able to buy up things, relisting things, right, flipping stuff. Yeah. I feel like though. So the argument is, right, like the auction house thing, like you could easily control prices through a global auction house, but at the same time I feel like in ESO even, I think some players can still do that to a degree.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So.
I've seen that. Yeah, you can buy, all the TA in the world and then start raising the prices on TA if you've been stashing it up. It's harder, I think, though, with the way that ESO has it set it up. Because there is so many of us that still have TA. That's a bad example, but you get the idea.
Yeah. Recently, Ce-Nex and I, we bought up with like 3 other people. We bought up all the Dragon Rim. I think it was a month or so ago. We were just to flip, and it was it was kind of hard actually, but we did it. I think it went from like 9k to 13 or 14k a piece, but only briefly for like a few days, and then it went back down to like 10k, 9k or something like that. Because like a lot of people seem to have reserves, so it's kind of like you're not just buying out things on the market, you also need to buy out the people's reserves, like their craft bags essentially. So you got to do the long term or something, you can't just do a short term.
Right. Yep. Lots of us still have it stashed up in our craft bags, so yeah, that's the nice thing.
Yeah, I actually felt bad about a little bad about the dragon.
Did you?
Yeah, a little bit, because you know,
super capitalist.
Well, I participated in some actually the auctions for the Ninja Squirrels, Ollie, and one of the lots was materials, and you know, I'd see like 200 grain solvents, 200 whatever, right, 200 everything, and then like 5 dragon room. And I was like,
it's not a popular item. So that lot is actually our farm lot. So we farm on Thursdays. I do buff it up, obviously, a little bit. There's things in there that you're not going to farm, gold mats and whatnot. But I think that probably those 5 dragon rune that you got was probably something that somebody got in a box, or there was a reason for that. But
right, yeah, that's pretty funny. I don't know. But yeah, so. Like, I'm really glad. I really want to thank you for coming on, because you're actually the first like trade guildmaster that we've talked to. Like, we usually talk to like PvPers, PvEers. We even talked to a role player. We've even talked to a Tales of Tribute fanatic recently, and you know, we talked to all sorts of different people. But you're the first to actually say, yeah, I don't know, come talk about.
I feel so honored.
Yeah, I'm not come talk about, you know, not just me, but trade guilds and things I do, so about trading. And I think the reason is one of the reasons I want to bring you on, or you know, really anyone on, really, is like a lot of players seem to misunderstand how trade guilds work, even after all these years. Or I guess, I don't know, depends on when they started playing, but like there's a misconception with a lot of trade, what trade guilds do or can do. Like, are you familiar with any of the misconceptions, or do you often see it when you have new players join the guild or newer traders?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I see it in zone chat. I see it. Our guild is. I do see it not as often in our guild chat. Maybe in our sister guild, Samurai Squirrels, I'll see it. People questioning, you know, how to even use the trader. Mostly, I see that in zone chat, where they'll walk up to a trader thinking they can just list their things right there, not realizing they actually need to be a part of the guild, or not knowing how to utilize the trader. I think the game's gotten better at giving instructions and showing people how to do stuff, but there's still, I think, a small gap where it takes a while before you get used to how to use a trader and how to list things and all the ins and outs to that. I mean, I have people join the guild every now and again and ask, okay, you know, can you put me in the rank that allows me to sell? And I'm like, wait, what? All ranks have the right to sell. You don't have to be in a special rank for that. So yeah, there's still some gaps there of people learning, which is fine. We love to teach and we love helping each other out. So that's another win for us, because it's just something we like to do.
Is it true that to be in Mournhold, you have to join some sort of cabal? or conspire with other guild masters?
The Mournhold Mafia.
Oh, yeah, the Mournhold Mafia.
No, I'm joking. So, we started off in very humble beginnings, and I know we kind of moved up the ranks. What's up?
How humble?
You're gonna ask a question.
How humble are we talking about? Like, we're talking about.
So we started in Hoarfrost Downs, which is in Rivenspire, if you didn't know.
Right.
It's
that
a
one little trader.
Yeah, it's a tiny little trader in the middle of nowhere. We went from there to Balfoyon, another little trader, and from there we went to Evermore in Bankerai. And so that was our first hurrah. Like, there's other traders around us. We're making it, guys. We were ecstatic. And then I think from there we went to Sentinel in Alakir Desert. And that was a big jump up for us. That place does very well. You can, I don't know about now, because it's been a while since we've been over there, but we were able to do a lot of sales over there. There's a lot of dolmen runners over there. There's a lot of traffic over there. And we were able to save up. And so the spots back then were much cheaper than they are now, but relatively speaking, they're still much cheaper than most of the other places in the game. So, we could save. And so from there we moved to, that was the big jump. So we didn't know, do we want to go to somewhere like Elden Root and Grotwood? Do we want to go check out Reaper's March? That was back when you had big guilds over there. Angry Unicorns was still around. Ethereal Traders Union, they're still there. There were some big names over there, and it was a great spot. Right off the trader, you got all of the guild, or right off the way shrine, you've got all the guild traders, you got the bank, you got your writs. So it was a prime spot. So it was still a really happening spot. So we kind of bounced around to try to figure out where we wanted to go before we landed in Mournhold. But when I decided to move the guild, or when we, I should say, decided to move the guild into Rawl, I had other people, just guildies, friends, other GMs, ask me, "Did you get permission?" And I was kind of thrown. I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "From who? Who am I supposed to ask?" And they're like, "Oh, the other guilds. They voted over there of who they wanted to allow into that spot. I don't think you were on the list." I'm like, "Okay, well, we're moving over there." So we only wanted to try it out for a few weeks. I don't know if all the guilds over there took place in that, but that was some of the rumors that I heard. Take it with a grain of salt. I have no idea. And then same kind of thing happened when we moved into Mournhold. I know a lot of the guilds that were there had been there for a very, very long time. One of the things that I have hated about being a GM of a trading guild is if you want to move up, you got to kick somebody off their spot. Mm-hmm. And I hated that. Hated it so much. It was, I want to get along with everybody. I don't want to make any enemies. I don't want to, I don't want to do that. It's not fun to me. I know it is for others, but it's not for me. So when we made that move to Mournhold, because that's where we decided to stay, and actually to Rawl as well. Angry Unicorns had left Rawl, so we took their spot. We didn't kick anybody off. When we made the move to Deshawn, the Traveling Torchbugs was actually on the spot that we're now occupying. And same thing. We just got lucky. We didn't have to kick anybody off the big spots. The smaller spots we did, but we didn't really know what we were doing back then either. So, but yeah, we got lucky. We didn't have to kick anybody. We have had to fight for, spots that we've wanted, but that's all part of it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
How's your relationship with the other traders in Mournhold now? Is it good, or are they, do fights break out? Do people get jealous of spots?
It's a good question. No, it's. I think it's relative. I don't know everybody. So when we were in Alakir, I got to become friends with one of the GMs that was also in Alakir. Their guild's now in Vivek City, another great spot. So when we made our move, they made their move as well, and her and I became good friends. And it was starting to get hard. I was starting to kind of branch out and talk to people and become friends. But then when you wanted to move, it was like, well, shoot, that's so-and-so's guild. I don't want to take that spot. And, that's so-and-so's. And so, or I'm in that guild. I can't take that spot. So I stopped making GM friends. I would still be friendly, but I kind of had to limit myself because what do? If you're friends with everybody, well, it's not.
Yeah, this is interesting. So, I mean, on EU, I mean, I notice a lot of what you're saying. The culture is pretty similar. You don't want to step on your friends, but what we do have in EU is, there's a bit of a language barrier sometimes. So you'll find like different language communities sticking together. So like one city will all be German, one city will all be Russian, one city will all be in English. I think, or is it like Daggerfall was French for a long time. Wayrest was German. Vivek City kind of switches between Russian and German.
That's interesting. So they all just kind of, it's like high school, you click up. These are your buddies. And
I mean, does that do you get that on NA? Do you get like all the southern states like ganging together?
Oh god.
I don't think so. No, not at all.
Trade Confederacy or something.
Oh no.
No, I don't think so. I mean, we do have some Spanish-speaking folk that's over on NA, and I don't see just, okay, Rivenspire's all, Spanish. No, I don't see that. I think we're kind of mingled, but it's mostly everybody. Yeah, I don't know. But I get along with everybody that I do know that's in Mournhold. I'm friends with the GM of Conquest. I am acquaintances with the GM of Warmart. And then ancient traders. I'm friends or acquaintances. I don't know how he would characterize it. I'd say friends with him. And I don't really know the GM of Imperfect Cleave, so I can't speak to that guild. And then I don't really know the GM of Lucian. So I know who he is, but we haven't talked as much as the others. But I get along, I think, with everybody. There has been talks of only bidding on your own trader, to not backup bid on the other traders in Mourn, which I do, in case anybody was curious. I don't bid on all of them, but I bid on a few. And the thought is, if you only bid on yours and you backup bid somewhere else in a different city, then you're not raising the bid prices for everybody. So if I get, booted off our wanted spot, our first choice, and I kick, let's say Valar off of Conquest, that's GM over there, then that's going to raise his prices up, because now he's got to fight. Now, I don't fight for any other spot than our prime, but I do place backup bids. I do what's best for the guild. I try to maintain friendships, but do what's best for the guild.
Right.
Yeah.
Earlier you mentioned you like the competitive aspect, but it seems now with this, the bidding thing, it's like, well, don't want to be too competitive. Did you
There's
mean, like,
a fine
competitive
line.
in, like, internally, or more like with sales, maybe?
Sales is one big one. We recently had a sales competition that we just smashed. It was awesome. We did really well. And then there was, I do like the moving up aspect. I just don't like having to push somebody off their spot. So, and I like being able to hold my spot, because I think anybody can kick anybody off anybody's spot. That's not the hard part. It's keeping the spot that I respect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you want the self-progression, but without stepping on other people.
Yeah.
Right.
I want my cake and eat it too.
Yeah.
You think there ever come a time where you just can't avoid it?
I mean, I've been asked not to back up bid on the other spots over in Mourn, and I can't avoid it. I mean, we do get kicked. I mean, we're not invincible either, so we've been kicked from our spot, and it saved us. We've stayed in Mourn by backup bidding on another spot there. So I would rather any spot in Mourn versus no spot. So yeah.
And you technically save gold, right? Because it's cheaper in other places, so you can like have more gold for next week, maybe.
Right. Oh, of course.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, if we end up in Eldenroot, which I love that spot, that's a great spot. We do very well there. I think a lot of guilds do very well there. But yeah, you save a tremendous amount of gold if you just, you got 1 week, you got to go over here. But yeah, you save a lot. So it's okay. It's not the end of the world if you don't end up on your spot 1 week.
How bad would it be if you didn't have a trader for a week? Does it drop significantly? Because I mean, you can still access it via the guild store, but it's only going to be restricted to your 500 guildies.
I noticed that. So there was a time, it's been a very long time that our big guild, the Ninja Squirrels, hasn't had a trader. There was a time, I want to say it was one of the last big updates, where I'm bad. I'm a procrastinator. So I get on Monday night and place our bids, and I'm sure other GMs do it differently, but I do it Monday night, and sometimes I'll do it Tuesday morning. Well, they had, there was a few months ago, and the game was down. Couldn't place our bids. And I couldn't get in to place our main bids. So we had no trader. We did luck out, and if you can find an open trader with nobody on it, the first 10K on it gets it. So we got lucky in that aspect. But where we've not had a trader at all, even in a more, lower traffic spot, it hasn't happened in a while. But even when it does happen where it's in a lower traffic area, our guildies know, and I'm very transparent with, hey, this is what happened. As you guys can see, it's not an ongoing thing. We'll get our spot back next week. Thanks for everything you do. And so we don't really lose guildies when that happens, even if we get kicked down to a different spot. That doesn't happen. I do notice that our guild apps don't come in as quickly, but I think that's the only negative that I see from it.
Yeah. I mean, do you still generate income? Do people still use like the guild bank trader or? Sure.
So yeah, they'll still use it. I feel like all their stuff that was already up there, they're not going to pull it off to go put it somewhere else. But if they've got some nicer stuff, they might put it on another guild, because the guys and girls that are in these guilds, these top traffic guilds, I feel like it's not their only one for most of them.
Yeah.
So they probably have another backup spot. And so their nicer stuff probably goes on the other trader for that week. And then once, yeah.
There's been some quality of life, I guess, improvements or additions, like ESO in general, where combat or whatever is involved. What do you think about the multi-bidding system? Because obviously you remember what it was like before multi-bidding.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you gotta bid only on one trader, and then you gotta stand there and see who either flips, when it flips, and see if you won or not. Then you gotta go, like, if you lost, you gotta go, like, to some obscure location and see if you can hire a trader at the stroke of, what was it, 3 p.m. or something? I don't know, something stupid. But anyway,
there's a time cut off.
Right.
So trading, and so not only did they switch it where you can bid up to 10 spots, it used to be just one before. For those who don't know, you could bid on one spot. So if you wanted to move up, it was a lot harder because you had to put all your eggs in that basket. And if you didn't get it, oh shoot, you better hope nobody bid on your spot. And then when you run over there, okay, good, no one's sitting there, or no one's bid on it, but then you've got other people running up that also see it open. So now it's a race of who can get it first. But it's a love-hate relationship. I definitely... When they changed that, they also changed the date or the day of the week. It used to happen on Sundays.
Yeah, I remember Sunday, definitely.
And yeah, now it's switched to Tuesdays. And I mean, I'm blessed to be able to work from home, so I can run over here and turn my computer on. But I get in a group every Tuesday morning. It's morning for me still, for when the flip happens. And we hop into voice chat together. And, we have this big group, and we spread out all over Tamriel. And it's big guilds, middle guilds, small guilds, but all trading guilds and people that want a trader. And we kind of stake out. And then when the flip happens, if somebody didn't get a trader, then we just scramble around like mice trying to find the first open spot to help that person out. And we do very well that way. So we kind of help each other out. None of the Mournhold guilds that are in Mournhold participate in that. They might do other groups, not in the one I'm in. But I'm sure there's other people that do that, where they, spread out and help each other find open spots. And it's worked out. It's saved a lot of people a lot of times. Okay, I found an open trader on me. And we kind of just, everybody runs over there if you need a spot. So.
Yeah, I kind of expected trade guilds to be far more cutthroat. Like the people, well, maybe the culture is completely different on EU. But another aspect of the trade guilds on EU is they're all very faction focused. And I don't know whether it's a coincidence or not, but the guild leaders of the top Craglorn trade guilds, this was back when Craglorn was like the place to be.
Where you dropped off your writs when you were level 50.
It still kind of is the place to be, at least on EU. But like the top trade guild, the owners were all like grand overlords for different factions, and they'd also run PvP groups. So you had your like your yellow group, your red guild, and your blue guild, and it, depending on who you played PvP with, that's whose guild you'd get into. So like if I wouldn't be able to have got into a blue or a yellow guild just because I play enough PvP that they would have known who I was. I mean, does that happen on NA at all? It
might. I don't see it. We've got PvPers in the Ninja Squirrels and in the Samurai Squirrels, and we're not a PvP based guild, so we've got people that are, how many people are on? 60 people right now. They're from all factions. And we got quite a few. I was kind of surprised, just checking it out a couple months ago, how many people actually PvP that are in the Ninja Squirrels and in the Samurai Squirrels. So there's quite a few, and it's all over the place. You've got Ebonheart, you've got Dagger, you've got all three. So
yeah, I wonder what it is about trading that attracts PvPers, or vice versa.
They need to gold out that gear. They got to gold out that gear somehow, and get those potions and.
Yeah, but I feel like PvE needs that as well, don't they?
Oh yeah.
Okay, well, but it's PvP too, you know what I mean? Trading is PvP. You know? Like, if someone lists something for 1,000 gold, you gotta list it at 900 gold.
Undercutters.
Oh, you don't like undercutting?
I I don't care. I don't look to see what other people price when I do my own pricing. How I do it is, so I've got both ATT, which is very similar to Master Merchant, and then I also use TTC, Tamriel Trade Center. So I'll look at an item. It's got to be between TTC prices, so it gives me that average, and then I usually do like 1 or 2 gold right below the or ATT price, and that's how I list. I don't look at what other people are pricing, and it'll sell. So I'm probably going on the much cheaper side, especially for being in a Mournhold guild, because we can get away with murder sometimes. But I do get a lot of mails, not a lot anymore, but I used to, from people asking, hey, this person's undercutting me, do something about it.
Oh,
it's
my
like,
God.
no, what do you want me to do? I'm so sorry. Are they doing it on purpose? Like, are they out to get you? Like, I can't. It is how the free market works. I'm so sorry. It stinks, but it happens.
Yeah.
Gotta list competitively.
Yeah. Do you remember the scams of people like listing CP10 potions instead of the CP160 ones?
Oh,
that
gosh.
used to happen a lot.
Yes.
Is that still happening?
Is that considered scamming, you think?
Or like a golded out weapon, and you just buy it real quick, not realizing it's not 160.
Yeah, I guess thankfully well, I guess if it's gold, it matters, but at least it goes into your sticker book now. You can recraft it. But yeah, I remember that used to be a big problem back in the day.
There's a couple. There's a cloth item. The name, it loses me. I'd have to scroll through here real quick and try to figure out which cloth. Raw cotton. I think that's raw flax or raw ebon thread. Any of those things. They kind of look like perfect row, the image of it. So people, this was a very long time ago, but people were trying to pass that as perfect row, but it's white and not gold. So I don't know how that was even working. So, or pass chromium grains. That was the thing that happened maybe 6 months ago or 8 months ago, where somebody was listing their chromium grains for right around the same price as plating, but a little bit cheaper. So you thought you were getting a deal. So people would hurry up and buy it and then realize, shoot, this is the grain. Tricky.
Do you guys remember the tempering alloy scam from way back then?
No.
You don't remember? So it's tempering alloy, the item icon for it shared the exact same icon image with citrine, the trait stone, which is now decisive, right? And people would trade each other citrine, and people would just buy it without looking at what it is. They just look at the item icon.
Oh my
God.
I don't know. But is that technically scamming, or is that just a sort of like, you should read or, hover over something,
Yeah, it falls on the buyer. It really,
right.
I mean, it's not
so
a great thing, and I don't really want to be. So when that grain thing happened, there was a person that was doing it in a lot of the Mournhold guilds, and it was pointed out to me by another guildie. Hey, do you realize what so and so's doing? And I'm like, no, I had no idea. And I guess they went to the other Mournhold guilds because they were in those guilds too, and told the GMs, and the other GMs said, hey, knock this off, and made them pull his stuff. And I'm like, well, shoot, now I guess I got to do that, or do I have to go have a conversation? Am I the only one that's not going to say something and just look so bad? And oh gosh, it should be a bit. It's not. I don't think it's a great look. I don't think you should do it as a seller. It's kind of a gray. It's nothing wrong with it. You're not breaking the terms of service. I mean, so it's tricky.
Yeah, I mean, do you have people that are like blacklisted in the trader community? Do people? How would one get blacklisted? What would you have to do to?
Good question. So, are you a GM on the EU server?
Of a PvE guild, yeah.
So there's a few Discords now, but there's some Discords that are out there for GMs, and I think a few of them allow their top officer to be in it as well.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of those. Yeah.
But yeah, that's where the blacklists exist. So you've got to have. I take it with a grain of salt. I'm not going to blacklist anybody. I don't think I actually have blacklisted anybody that's been on that list onto my own guild blacklist. And I think I've added one person to the list, but that's with multiple screenshots proof. I'm not going to just take someone's word for it. I don't know what happened there, if there was some sort of argument or vendetta, and so I do my own thing. But there are blacklists 100% out there.
Yeah. It's usually for like social behavior and how you messaging people inappropriate stuff rather than bad trade 100%. Practice, I guess.
That or scamming of crowns. That's a huge thing that's happening and still happens. And so those people get put on there, or Or my favorite, emptying the guild bank. That's never happened to us. It never will. I don't have it open. I still don't get why these guilds are leaving their guild banks open. I mean, it's supposed to be a, take a penny, give a penny sort of thing.
Right.
And people just come in and wipe them out. I'm like, I don't want to victim shame, but close your guild bank down. Goodness, I feel so it's a thing that doesn't have to happen. You have control of that. So
well, that's interesting though, that in terms of sort of etiquette, pretty much anything seems to go with trading guilds. Like if you can snipe someone's spot, then you're not going to get blacklisted.
I
think it's great, honestly. I think it's a capitalist dream.
It is, and it keeps it healthy, and it keeps it competitive, and I like it as well. This 10 bids, that's quite a lot. I don't know if I would have gone with being able to place 10, maybe start off with 5 or something, but there's no recourse anymore. There's no consequences if you don't get your spot. Oh well, you've got 9 backups. So bigger guilds now really shouldn't ever not have a trading guild somewhere, even if it's just a little one-man stand somewhere or an outlaw's refuge. But the smaller guilds, I don't know if it's helping them so much. You got to have all that gold in your bank. You can't just...
do you need to have enough gold for each bid, or just for the main one? Okay,
no, for every single one. So, and it goes in order of how you... Well, the amounts, or let's say you kept the amount 10,000 gold for every single one. Whatever one you placed first, that would be your first priority then. But I place it, I kind of stagger them by like 1 gold, so I can keep in my head, I want that one first, that one second. But yeah, you have to have all that gold in there, and that's a lot when you start getting into the higher traffic areas. You gotta have quite a bit of gold in there.
Yeah, you have to have the liquid asset to even start the bid. So
yep,
that was actually one of my
and then it immediately pulls it too. So
right, when they were posting about on the forums, there's that one guy from ZOS. He's like kind of not in charge, but like he's like one of the in-game economy developers or whatever. And like he told us like, we'll let you guys know what we see on our end after the multi-bidding goes live. And I don't think they ever said anything because I criticized it because it was like, well, okay, I think 10's a bit too many.
A bit much.
Smaller guilds with less liquid. I mean, you're gonna start a cascade effect once even more so now when the bigger guilds are just bidding on more spots, and if one gets knocked, well, everybody else gets knocked. So
exactly.
And I think the main reason why they did it is because maybe, according to their metrics, maybe there would be a high rate of inflation somehow, and I guess there still is a high rate of inflation, right? It keeps going up with gold. At least on PC, and PC is a little different, I think. I don't know.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I mean, there was like a bit of an inflation sort of last year. Like prices now are probably at least double, if not triple, what they were about 2 years ago.
Well, they don't want to add any gold sinks for some reason. But I guess.
I mean, everything's gone up though. Our bids have gone up too, though. I mean, I won't talk about what I bid now, but I can tell you 2 years ago or 2.5 years ago, that's when we moved into Mournhold, and our winning bid was 17 mil. To me, that was an astronomical amount. I was like, wow, 17 mil, how are we going to keep up with this? But if I knew then what I know now, oh my gosh, my head would explode.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think it came with being able to sort of gift crown things, right?
Yeah.
That kicked it all off.
Oh yeah, 100%. We've got a lot of guilds now that are funded by.
Oh god.
I mean, credit card babies. I mean, I don't know what to call them, but they've got credit cards and they've got some money, IRL money, and they don't mind using it, and they tend not to last very long, which is the nice thing. I mean, unless you're uber rich and don't mind, doing it this way, it's a way to do it. You sell crowns and then throw the gold in there, and now you've got any trader you want. But how long do you want to keep up with that? And so,
isn't that kind of pay to win? You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah.
I've always been wary of the crown thing because the moment like they allowed it, I was like, I feel like some guilds will probably use it to like essentially buy gold, right?
Yeah.
From players and just fund their trader, and probably it probably wouldn't be healthy, but I'm glad to hear that they don't last long.
No, yeah, I've seen a few come through Mournhold. I've seen a few go through Vivek City. yeah, they I think the longest one lasted was about 5 months, and I was kind of impressed with that. We just had one come through here just not long ago, and it was I think it only won a trader once, and then it kind of crumbled to the floor and it's gone. But
5 months just just with crowns. Oh my god. That's a lot of gold. That's a lot of crowns. That's a lot of dollars.
I was impressed. I mean, whatever, guy, go for it.
I wonder if they use the Argentina loophole, or
so
Turkey loophole.
I think they fixed that a little bit. I think they've bridged that gap. It's still cheaper. I know what you're talking about.
Right.
But I've been told that they've brought that up a little bit. So it's not as great of a deal, is how it was explained. But if anybody's listening, if you have no idea what they're talking about, if you go and you buy, what is it, Steam account?
Right.
And then put in the fact that you're from Argentina, the ratio for IRL money is much cheaper over there. So when you go to buy 21,000 crowns, it's like $10 or whatever. Versus when I go and buy 21 crowns, it's $150. So a lot of people were doing that and then selling it and making a lot of money. But I think they brought and I think it's harder to prove that I don't know. I don't know the ins and outs, but I know enough about it.
Yeah,
it's
they definitely seem to have cracked down on it a little bit somehow.
On EU, it's Turkey, not Argentina, I've heard.
Yes, but that's because people are actually from... I guess maybe Argentinians would play on NA. Where would they play? I don't know. I guess that would be their closest server. Yeah, like I would say most of the big crown sellers on EU are Turkish. Or like he's from those. That
makes sense. Yeah, it's cheaper.
Eastern economies. You don't get many like Northern Europeans.
But yeah, back to the topic, I guess, of the multi-bidding. Do you think it turned out better? Like it's easier for you, more convenient for you as a trade GM?
It is.
Multi-bidding? Okay.
As a large guild, I would say that. If I was the GM of us, because it wasn't that long ago. I remember what it was like not being able to have a ton of gold like that and place wherever we wanted, but I don't think I would like it as much if I were in a lower traffic area. It's harder. When we first moved to Mournhold, when they first made multi-bidding, we didn't have all that capital in the guild bank.
Right.
So we would actually ask guildies for loans just for the day. Hey, can you loan me? I don't care if it's 2 mil, 5 mil, a mil. Can you loan the guild something? And we'll send it back the next day. And we did that for a very long time. Well, 6 months or so, and then we started growing our capital. Now we got into Mourn, we got some more players into the guild that were wanting a Mourn trader, and we're able to save up some more, and now we're able to fund it without doing that way. But that was a way that we found that worked. So, but as a smaller guild, I don't know if I would like it as much.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
So do you do like weekly donations, or do you have a minimum sale, or because I know lots of guilds do things differently?
Yeah. So the Ninja Squirrels, it can be met a few ways. You can sell or buy 250k worth of stuff through the trader, and that'll cover you for the week. And this is a weekly quota. We do have on our side, on the back side, we just look at 200k. We don't want there to be any discrepancies of, well, my MM says I sold, so we just have like a buffer of 50k right there. So if you sold 200k, you're good. The other way is depositing 20k gold into the guild bank for raffle tickets. And then another way is to come along on our Thursday night farm runs. So on Thursday nights, we group up and we run around and collect nodes and mats and whatnot. Some people fish, some people go after chests, and a lot of people just goes after the nodes. We do that. You can come for 30 minutes, you can come for 2 hours. It lasts for about 2 hours. And then at the end, you just hand over everything you get. So that lot in the very beginning of this discussion that we were talking about that Nefas had won in our auction, that was one of those lots. So they hand everything over, and then we toss all that stuff into our auction. And then if you stay, all you have to do is stay for 30 minutes, and now your quota's been met. Because our thought process on that is if you went and farmed for 30 minutes, you'd have the 20k gold. You could go sell that stuff and essentially buy some raffle tickets or sell the items and meet the 250k. So yeah, that's an easier way for those who maybe are just starting off and it's harder for them to meet the 20k or the 250. Will come along for 30 minutes and you're good. And then our auction, we don't advertise our auction as being a way to meet quota because we don't always have our auction. In the winter months now coming, it'll get a lot more regular. In the summer months, I'm not around as much on the weekends. So, but that is another way. So if you donate a lot or if you buy a lot, you're helping that way. So we'll mark you off. We won't advertise it that way, but you'll be marked off as meeting the quota. And then our trivia night we have on Friday nights. Again, don't always have it, but we have it most nights. And if you answer a trivia question right, you get 50K entered into the raffle on your behalf, i.e. you've deposited a minimum of 20K raffle tickets. So so there's some fun ways of meeting it. You don't have to be an elite trader to join. And our sister guild actually has a monthly quota, so it's much easier. But yeah.
How do you set the minimum sales? Is that like equivalent to 20K earned for the guild? That wouldn't quite be.
250K? Nope, does not equal. Not at all. You will not get that in taxes.
Yeah. So what's the benefit of the selling? So I guess
we would rather people donate. You get more out of it that way. But if you're going to use the trader, because we want people to, please use it. It costs a ton. It costs you. I mean, you're part of the guild. It's going to cost you a ton as well. Please utilize it. So that's the benefit. It's just trying to get people to use it. We do allow people to also pay 6 months in advance in raffle tickets, so that way they don't. Yeah.
Wow.
A lot of guilds do a year or indefinitely. Yeah,
Definitely.
Here's 10 mil and I'm good. You can never kick me, and I'm not going to do that.
I did that for mine. I just gave the guild leader $1 million, and I'm in it for life now.
How much is indefinite though?
Yeah, like you're holding a spot. What if you leave and you don't play anymore? And
how much did you pay, Ollie?
I paid $1 million.
$1 million?
I mean, yeah. I probably sell like.
That's not much, I don't feel like. But I don't know what type of guild it is.
It's Craglorn, like from row, but I mean, I also sell like 200 to 2 mil.
Okay.
Every week anyway. So.
Most people use it for about a month. Most of the people, they send in a month's worth of gold or deposit a month's worth of gold. But I do have a couple that'll do the 6 months. I've had people ask, though, can I do it for a year? Can I do it indefinitely? And I won't do it. It's just... There's so many people wanting into the guild, and we never have enough room. And if you leave or you don't decide to play much anymore, you're just hogging a spot. So we got to keep it open for active players.
Yeah. But how do you prioritize active players? Or when you get applications through, is there something that you look for, or is it just first come, first serve?
First come, first serve that can state in our application. So I don't go around like I used to and advertise in each zone chat. We just use the guild finder now, which is a great add to this game. I love it, 'cause that was not a fun I didn't like advertising. You get screamed at for putting stuff. Stop putting walls of text in my chat. So I like the guild finder. But yeah, first come, first serve, but you do have to state in your app that you can meet or manage our weekly quota. That's the one thing that we ask in our application. So
they do need to type something and show that.
Yes, it cannot be a blank app. Yep.
Yeah.
I decline those. I do explain why, because it gives you a little small window to explain why you're declining, and I do put that in there. You're like, you did not state that you could meet. If you can, please reapply, and we'd love to add you.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so I also manage a sort of big social PvE guild, and I don't even read the applications. I just accept them based on how much they've written, because there's so many. No, the ones for late night dungeoneers, I don't bother reading.
Oh, okay.
Like.
I think it depends on the guild.
Yeah. If it's like a competitive raiding guild, you read them and you get to know the person. But like an open social guild, I'll just, you've written 10 lines of text. Yeah, come on.
Oh, I like raiding them. We actually have a spot in our Discord for some of the more unique ones or funny ones or off the wall ones. So I'll delete their names so nobody can call them out on it, but then I'll share it in there. But it's fun. I like it. We have an inactivity period too of 10 days. So if you're going to be gone longer than 10 days, we ask that you just, reach out, let us know if you know ahead of time. If you don't, then we go ahead and remove you. Anybody that gets removed for inactivity, though, gets a mail letting them know, hey, you've been removed, and I attach something so it stays in their mail a little bit longer. And when you come back, just hit us up, and you're more than welcome to come back.
Yeah. So do you use add-ons for that? Because I know there's lots of add-ons for managing those big guilds, like the mails and stuff.
When I'm sending a mass mail, I'll use the add-on Godsend.
Yep.
It seems to work great. I haven't had any issues with it. When I'm removing people for inactivity, that's usually only a couple people, so I manually do that.
Yeah.
I do like the add-ons.
Mm-hmm. How do you track other people's sales? Which add-on do people use for that now?
You could use. There's a combination. Shishoos. If you're a guild leader, it would be the only time I would recommend using it. Right. It is a very heavy add-on, and it can be messy. And if you don't use it right, you don't need it. Otherwise, just use MM or ATT for that. But I use Shishoos.
Yeah, that's one where you can see like how long they've been in the guild and that kind of thing. Yeah.
You can literally track everything. When
you can make private notes.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But while we're on the topic of raising gold and stuff for the guild, a lot of people also have the misconception. Usually, like I see it all the time, at least even on like official forums or even on social media, like God forbid the ESO Facebook groups, right? There's always people complaining about trade guilds having dues, or thinking that the dues that like the gold they put into the guild bank is used for something else, usually something nefarious, like it goes to the officers. It goes to the Guildmaster.
We just gold our stuff out.
Yeah.
Buy crowns.
How much of the gold do you how much do you use all of it for just bidding, or do you like save some for like events, or how does that work?
So when we do bid, we do get pretty dang close to using all of it for our 10 bids, and then our sister guild we help out as well. So we do, but it all comes back the next day. So then we have our amount, but we do have a lot in there for oh shit moments. Like we've got a guild that wants to come in. We better defend our territory here and our trader. So we've got it for that. We do have it for events. For we have housing competitions, which I need to throw the mail out on that today. We've done dueling tournaments. We've done Easter egg hunts. We've done hide and seek thing, just silly fun stuff. Our trivia night, that comes out of that officer's pocket. He's amazing. Shout out to Go Cub. But yeah, we've got it in there for a range. And that's another misconception, is that trading guild leaders are rich. We just got tons of gold over here. Probably because we are just pocketing all that gold from, the quotas and stuff. It's the other way around. I'm poor. All my gold goes into the guild bank. I've been playing for a very long time, so I have what I need. My stuff's golded out. I have houses. I have pretty much everything I could need. So when I get gold or whatever, I just toss it in the guild bank. All my gold goes in there. So if I need gold, which doesn't happen very often, I will go ahead and pull it back out. But there's so many records of it going in that I don't think anybody cares at that point.
All right, time to embezzle.
Yeah, that would get noticed, I'm pretty sure.
Well, what do you mean by poor? Because pretty much all the trade GMs I've met, when they say, "Oh, I'm a little broke," they're like, "Oh, they're like."
I have 583K on me right now.
Yeah, on you right now, on the character or like on the account.
This is my main. Gosh, I do have inventory insight. If I knew how to use it, I could tell you I probably have 2 or 3 mil scratched out through all my characters, and I might have another 500K in the bank. But it's not much. I literally throw everything I have into the guilds. So
that's not
need it. I have no reason for it. It's enough for porting. It's enough if I see something I want to buy, I'll grab it. But yeah. And then if I do need more gold, I'll sell. I've got a ton in my craft bag. I mean, I hope I know how to make gold by this point.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, does it actually make you like a more savvy trader managing a guild?
It probably does, because I've gotten to talk with a lot of guildies on how they do it and found all different tricks and tips and gotten to talk to others. And so maybe, I mean, just from socializing and talking to see how other people make gold. I mean, the most lucrative, and I'm probably sure it's the same on EU, but the most lucrative way I feel in this game, other than crowns, which I don't count, is probably flipping. I mean, buying low and selling high.
Flipping. Yeah.
So, I mean, I had a guy a long time ago now, a couple years. He joined the guild and he was, level 5. He just bought the game, but was really keen on wanting to have a ton of gold. And so he said, I see you're the GM. I joined your guild. Can you help me? How do you make gold? And I said, yeah, if you've got a minute, hop in Discord with me and I'll chat with you. And I told him all the different ways that I knew of. You can go fishing. You can just go quest. You can go farming. You can go PvP. You can go flip. And so he really liked the flipping aspect. He thought that was fun. And a lot of people like it. It can be fun. So he went with that. And I actually gave him about 100K worth of mats. It wasn't much, just so he could put on our trader and see how it worked with the add-ons and whatnot. I mean, he was brand new. That guy turned into, my God, in the first month he had like 20 mil, and then after like a couple months, I think he had over 200 mil. And I'm like, what the, I can't do that. I don't have the time. It's not that I can't, but I just don't have the time to flip like that. He really got into it. But yeah, there's some people out there that, I don't know if it makes me any better, though. I think it does a little bit, just because I can chat with people, but maybe not.
Yeah. Another thing people I know is quite popular for making a lot of money is they'll try and gamble on like furnishing plans. I know that's a big one. That when a new DLC comes out, they'll try and farm those furnishing plans. Do you see people doing that? Do you see like prices going up when a new DLC comes out?
Oh yeah, that's when we did our sales competition. Was when High Isle came out, and it was so sad. We lost our trader in Mournhold. We got booted to Elden Root. It was so sad. I was so heartbroken. I would wish we would have gotten our first choice, because it would have been great to know what we could have done in Mournhold. But we smashed it over in Elden Root, and so that's why I like it over there. But yes, that's one of the reasons we were able to do that, was furnishing items that had just come out, companion gear. That had really, I mean, man, you get a purple ring, and it's like 7-8 mil during that time, 12 mil. So yeah, we definitely used the release to our advantage to do our sales comp. And I know that those aren't true numbers. We're not going to be doing those sorts of sales. And we all kind of, as a group, tried to sell really hard and do well. So, but yeah, blueprints for sure. Yeah, they are much more worthy when they first come out.
All right. Ask Kassandra how much do you bid. That's off the list. I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. But
17 mil. I told you guys.
Yeah, 2 years ago. I've heard wild stories about bidding amounts though in Vivek City and Mournhold. Like, I've heard it's like 200 mil or something, and I'm like, that's too much. I don't know. But for the Ninja Squirrels, like, a lot of people think it's like one of the biggest trade guilds. Is it true? Like, what's the biggest trade guild?
Well, define big. I mean, we can only all have 500 members, so we all have that.
In terms of sales, like sales amount. Oh. Who do you think is the biggest?
I think we took the record for the most sales in a week. And I should actually look up the number before I spew it. But it's hard to know, because not every guild out there says what they've done. Unless you join all these other guilds, how are you to know? I know that there were guilds that were advertising as such that they were the top, did the most sales in 1 week ever. So I looked at those numbers and said, okay, well, you did 1 bill in sales. All right, and you're saying you're the top, or I think it was 1.3 bill. And when we're chatting here, I'll look up to see what our number was. But I think I want to say we doubled the one. I think we were in the 2 bills.
Do you spy on other guilds? Do you have like little sleeper agents,
my God,
like go and join guilds?
Not really. I mean, I've had questions. I don't put people like, hey, you go over there into that guild. But I've had people in the other guild, and we're all asked questions, and some people will answer it, some won't, but I ask it in guild chat too. So like, hey, anybody in Conquest of Tamriel? And they're like, yeah, I am. And then I just ask my question, right? It's not anything crazy. But I know that happens. That's why you don't share your bid amount. I mean, there's people that can join just for that reason of trying to figure out what that amount is, that they can bring it back to their real guild. And just got to be careful.
How would you find that out manually? Just by gradually increasing your bid on a certain trader until it hit the golden amount?
Yeah, I think that's how I did it when it was the one bid system. Was you start, you got to throw it out somewhere. Do you go too high? I don't know. If you get it right off, then you got to, I guess, kind of bring it down. But yeah, if you did it manually, and you would just raise it up until you got it.
Like, in terms of percentages, how much gold do you make compared to the cost of the bid? So,
like profit?
Yeah.
So I can bring that up. Statistics.
Making like 10%, 20%.
Like not most. Some trade guilds probably are in the red, not in the black.
Yeah, if you're just going off of the sales, 100%. If you're like 806 million in sales, you're only getting 29 mil. So you're not getting much in taxes. It's our bid is well over 28 and 29 mil. So that's where the raffles, and we've got a jackpot, and really our auction is our moneymaker. And we get little donations and big donations every now and again, but that's not as consistent. So our raffles and our auctions, those are a must.
A lot of players don't understand the sale tax system in ESO. They think it's a flat 7% for the guild, but in reality, it's actually 3.5% for the guild, because the other 3.5% goes back into the system. It's like a gold sink.
Black hole. Yep.
Yeah, and the listing fee is it's a different story.
So it's more like sort of in the region of like 60%, 50%, maybe even less.
Yeah, it's very insignificant. If you're gonna try to like make a profit off of sales, you better be selling like a lot. Like
I don't know if any guild does. I don't know if they can actually just use their sales to place their bids. I don't think any guild can.
Yeah, the closest you can do is probably a status quo, where your like guild bank fund kind of hovers around the same area. Maybe if you're, that's I think a success to me.
Yeah, I could agree with that.
But for trade guilds, it's like it's interesting. How has because this has been a hot topic recently, at least with update 35. Like how has update 35 affected like the trader population, or like sales even? Because apparently a lot of players are taking a break or like quitting. Has that affected trade guilds at all?
I'm not seeing it as far as people leaving. I mean, we still always are at above 490, usually around 499. So I'm not seeing it as far as people, but I'm seeing our sales down. Usually we're over 1 billion in sales a week. So I'm seeing that around the 800, 900 mark versus the 1 bill. Every now and again we'll go over, but it's affecting a little bit, but not as crazy as I think people thought it was going to. At least not for trading guilds.
You mentioned that auctions is your biggest moneymaker. Is it because like people just understand? Like I've noticed this in a lot of trade guilds, including the Ninja Squirrels. There's like sometimes a joke item, like a potato or something, and people still bid so much gold on it. Like I guess there's like this understanding that the auction is about giving rather than trying to make profit off of. If that makes sense. Like,
for sure, yeah. We've got people who. It's literally trash, but it's like a white shirt or a white dress or that you can get off an NPC. People send that in. Actually, one person, she's awesome, but I think she actually likes the dress. I don't think it's to be funny. I think she likes the dress, but it's cute. And so there's the dress and like lockpick or soul gem or something like that. But yeah, when we first started doing our auctions, I had a lot of guildies who thought that the auction, not a lot, but a good percentage, thought that the auction was more meant for them to come out and get a great deal. And so I'd have a lot of people say, well, this is well over the price. It's not worth it. And then you'd have the other guildies explain, well, that's not really supposed to be worth it. It's supposed to make it so we can keep our trader. And over the years of doing these auctions every Saturday, I think people have just gotten more used to understanding what it's about. And sure, we'll have great deals go every now and again. Somebody's not paying attention. We'll put a lot up. A lot of people aren't paying attention, and it goes for cheap, and good on them. They just scored a great lot for cheap. But it is meant more so for the guild. And so when you have a silly item go up like that, people understand. If you don't have to bid, nobody is requiring you to bid on anything, but all the gold is for the trader. It's for no other purpose. So.
Yeah, that's fair.
Do you incentivize your top sellers? Because I remember in my trading guild, they used to give tax back if you were in the top 3 traders, but they don't seem to do that anymore, sadly. It's under new management. they took that away.
I've thought about it. We've thought about it, me and the officers. What do you give them? Like, how do you incentivize people? The people that are doing really well want to be doing really well. They're going to continue doing really well. They like the gold, and that's their own incentive. That's the best incentive right there, is you get a ton of gold. To get so when we did the sales competition, we gave away tons of stuff, crowns included, and it was still the top people. I think a few people snuck in there throughout, because I think we did top 10 or 20 sales and top 10 or 20 purchasers. And it was kind of the same people. I have heard of people giving back their taxes, stuff like that. I don't know. I can't think of a great way. I mean, that's okay. I think that's okay. I don't know if you're going to get more sales out of by doing it.
Yeah, but I feel like it's a kind of a skewed system, because you could go and buy something for 10 mil and then list it for 10.5 mil, and it looks like you've sold for
exactly
10.5 mil. You haven't.
Yep, but anybody can do that though too.
Yeah. The raffle seems more fun, I think.
The raffle. Oh, the one where you deposit the gold in the bank and
incentivizing a bit of randomness.
Our highest seller, and I don't know what other guilds' highest sellers, but we have it written down here. Okay. His most sales is 346,842,206 gold. So 346 mil is what's in 1 week.
In 1 week.
In 1 week.
What they sell?
Yep. Shout out to Tame the Golden One. No, God, he sold tons of mats and I think companion items, and it was during the high isle. But yeah, he's a beast. He's awesome.
It's a lot of gold. Is that like his average? Like, that's his highest, but like,
no,
does he usually hit like north of 100 mil every week, or what's
no? I think it depends when he. Like right now, I think he's kind of just taking it easy. I mean, he was on 6 hours ago, so he's still playing, but I don't think he's trading hard. When he wants to, he can easily go over 100. In the last 30 days, let's see, he's at 172. We've got somebody at 304 in the last 30 days. 304 million.
I feel like they've probably spent a lot of money as well.
Yes, it's flipping, for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know what the profit was, if it's 300 and some mil.
Yeah, he knows. And I'm trying to think, what is the most expensive single item? Because I remember it used to be like those.
I bought a painting for 10 million gold. I'm serious. I bought 3 paintings for 30 million gold. And that was so sad.
Why?
The target dummies.
It's the rare ones. It's the really rare one where like it was the only ones on the market, literally.
Some of those Alienware blueprints, they're worth a lot. I know some of the Opal style pages, they're worth a lot, or even masks, style page masks, they're worth a good penny. I don't know what the most expensive item is, but
the gold style books, maybe. It's like super rare ones which contain the whole style. One book. There's people that collect those, like a couple of people on EU, the guild officers, trade guild officers collect those for some reason.
I have an officer who collects those as well.
Why?
I think she sells them though, to sell, not to collect, to sell.
Why do people buy them? Because they seem like such a rip-off. Like, I don't know.
Collectors, and same with some of the stuff that's not in the game anymore. Old mats that don't even go in your craft bag. They just take up space. There's collectors like that they just want to have everything. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, he's someone that likes to show off your wealth. Because I always try and buy like expensive furnishings to put in my house just to, show off.
Not really. I mean, I'm not like that in real life either. I'd rather just stay humble. It works out better that way. There's no point in showing off.
Yeah. All my money's like behind me, like everything's just empty. Like, there's not even a wall that side. I could only buy the 3 walls.
Buy the one. Yeah. You got 3 walls. That's it.
That's
what other questions you got, Nefas?
I have so many questions about trading.
All right.
And how
let's hear it.
Well, I have a lot. I don't know if you go over them. They're very. We can talk about a lot of things because when we were talking about Mournhold and how like you had to ask for permission apparently, I remember at least back then, about 2015 to about 2017ish, there was a lot of trade guild drama, like a lot. And there's a reason why a lot of trade guilds, I feel like these days, still have their guild bank gold hidden from most people.
Right.
Yeah, people would send spies. People.
Yeah,
people would legit make a different guild to, bid on, like troll spots basically, to, like take over. Man, yeah, I don't know. Does that happen anymore nowadays? It seems pretty stable for the most part nowadays.
It does seem more stable. I remember the last big takeover was in Raw Call, and it was, I still don't know who it was to this day, but they went and they bought every trader in Reaper's March Raw Call.
Yeah, I know who it was.
And they spelt out the names Chaos.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. Was it you, Nefas?
No, it was someone I know.
Are you the drama?
No. I don't really start drama anymore, honestly.
Anymore.
No, I mean, I think everything was pretty toxic back then. Trade guilds, raid guilds, PvP guilds.
Yeah.
But I know who did that. Interestingly enough, and they actually spent pretty much all their gold just for that 1 week.
For what? And they didn't want anybody to know who they were. Like, so what's the point? Just to show that they could do it once?
Oh, it was kind of like a goodbye to the game. It's
okay.
Yeah, it's just like they're just kind of done. Also, it was pretty funny, probably. I don't think it's funny. I don't know.
It actually worked out because that was the week, I want to say Fargate? No, it couldn't have been that early. It was some DLC that came out, and most of the guilds that are there all got the new spot, and they did really well that week. So it was kind of a bad week for them to do it because it didn't hurt, unless they weren't trying to hurt the guilds.
I don't think they're trying to hurt them. I think they're just trying to have fun. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I think if you really want to hurt a guild, you would do what the trade guilds used to do for sure. Like make another guild and just at this point. So like we have a contingency plan for Semp. And it's because apparently some trade guilds are jealous of us because we're not actually trade guild, right? And we took the front spot in Leowin, and apparently some trade guilds don't think we deserve the trader because we're not a trade guild, right? Apparently they don't like the fact that.
Do you use it?
Oh, absolutely. Well, I use it. That's a different topic, though.
I mean, if it gets used, I don't really care for walking up to a spot and there's nothing on it, or there's 3 items. Literally, that seems like a waste that you took it from somebody. But if you use it, who are they to say? Like, even if you take it, I mean, it is what it is. But why take it if you're not going to use it?
Yeah. Basically,
people don't join your guild just to trade.
Well, it's a bit of everything guild, right? It's a social guild. It's a raiding guild. We sell carries, we raid, we do PvP, everything, right? So we took the trader, and some apparently, and this is like rumors, or not rumors, but like some people told some people, and then there was some people told an officer that told me that some people in trade guilds were like, oh, they don't deserve the trader because they're not a trade guild, and most of the revenue they make, I heard, comes from selling carries. And I'm like, okay, You know, and
okay, so
yeah, so a couple trade guilds have tried to, you know, buy for the spot, right? And that's fine. I don't care. But we have a contingency plan, or at least, you know, I do. If they take our trader, we have several guilds we can use to just literally take all the spots. And ever since we made that contingency, I have been praying and wishing that they take our trader. Because I think it'd be funny. I think it would be funny. I think it'd be entertaining as fuck. You know, honestly, you know, I think so.
Spell out Nefas.
Yeah, and we do it for at least a month straight, and then that sends a message.
That's troll.
No. That sends a message and be like, no, it does. It's like, don't fuck with us. Like, I understand.
Mafia.
Yeah, I understand. Like, maybe you don't, for some reason, you don't like people you've never met or talked to before, but don't. Yeah, stay away from us. Like, literally, that's just the message you send. That's the only time I think you should do that.
It sends a message. Oh, it does. I'm not going to disagree with that.
Yeah.
It'll send a message.
Yeah, but that's a contingency plan.
Attract more, like.
Attract more? No, I think it's like
violence.
we have the funds to do it, so it's like, you know, whatever.
Wow.
But ever since we made that, it's been a few months. I don't know, like, if they got wind of it or something, but they.
So is it just one particular guild if they take your, or is it anybody?
Anybody.
God. Jesus Christ.
Ever since then, the only time we've lost is because we forgot to bid on it. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I was going to say, what happens if, like, you fuck it up?
It's all us, for sure. It's not like, oh my god, I fucked up, I'm gonna fuck everybody else.
Right.
But anyway, I think something like that is fine, you know. But what were we talking about? We were talking about something else. What was it? What was it? Oh yeah, trade guild drama. Right. Right, yeah. There used to be a lot of trade guild drama, that's for sure.
Taking spots.
Oh yeah.
Ghost trade guilds that don't have anybody in it really, and just taking a spot to take it.
Yeah.
Never got into that.
And you also mentioned like groups that, like, I don't know if I want to say coalition, but like groups that help
get together. And
right, and you know, look
spots.
for open spots. Yeah, there were a lot of those too back then. I was in one as well, and I think before most of these groups popped up, I think it was the Durrani Dynasty or some shit. At least on PC anyway. But anyway, yeah, it's pretty interesting stuff.
I think a lot of those, I mean, our group is still going, but I think when they opened up multi-bidding, a lot of them, it's like, okay, well, now you can have 10 spots to bid on. There's no need for these groups anymore. But for the smaller guilds and for the bigger guilds, I think there's still some value in it. And so that's why I still hop into them on Tuesdays and help out and all, you know. And for our bigger guild, or the Ninja Squirrels, we don't probably need it for that reason, but maybe for the Samurai Squirrels, that's not a huge guild. I wouldn't say as far as sales goes. It is in terms of members, but it's not. We wanted it to be kind of smaller. We wanted it to be in not a top tier location. We wanted to have kind of a good spot, but more of a learning spot, and have a great trader without having to pay the crazy dues. And that was the point of the Samurai Squirrels.
What do you think is the most popular town for trade, for just buying?
I wanted to ask him that as well for EU, because I bet you it's different.
I think it's Craglorn and
it's not Craglorn over here.
Craglorn on EU, bro.
Not even a little bit.
No way, it's Craglorn on EU. I've actually asked some EU players.
Vivek City or Craglorn, I'm pretty sure.
All the EU players I've asked, they say Vivek City. So there's a person I know, Warsource. She told me she's in a trade guild in Mournhold on EU and in a trade guild in Vivek City, and apparently she sells 4 times as much in the Vivek City guild trader. If that's any indication, and the other people say they make a lot of gold from Vivek City and on EU. Yeah,
I think Vivek City sells more, but Craglorn is higher priced.
To get in, the bids.
Well, no, it's things to sell for higher in Craglorn.
Oh, okay.
Less often, weirdly. I don't know. I could buy a Drograx in Vivek City and sell it in Craglorn for an extra 10%. It would take a little longer to sell, but it would sell for a higher price. So I kind of guess it depends on what kind of trading you want to do, whether you want to do selling a lot and a little, or if you're okay with waiting for a good price.
I want to say Vivek over here, only because if anybody's listening, they'll go over there, and they want their guild over there, and no one wants to come to Mournhold. Stop coming to Mournhold. It's awful.
Yeah,
Your stuff doesn't sell.
Yeah. I used to do my crafting dailies in Mournhold just because the guild traders there were so good. So if you run out of Ancestor Silk or whatever, you can just go and pick some up. But like Leowin's okay for it now. FFXIV's good for that as well. It was strange that Craglorn is still popular on EU.
That is strange.
Don't know.
It's not that way over here.
Yeah. I mean, they've put the luxury furnishing vendor there now as well, and the event vendor, but
the event vendor, but the luxury vendor furniture.
Yeah, he's there as well, like a copy of him, clone of him.
Huh? Is that the same at ours, Nefas? I'm gonna have to port over there.
Surely.
I don't really check the luxury vendor anymore. Kind of.
Ours is in Cold Harbor.
It's in both. It's Cold Harbor and Craglorn now.
I mean, I haven't. Wow. I know that the event.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
He's like in one of the tents at the back.
Really?
So
and just shows up on the weekend, just like the normal.
It should be there now.
I'm popping over. I gotta check this out. For NA, I think it's Mournhold and Vivek. I don't know who's. I feel like Mournhold probably does more in sales, but as far as more traffic, that's tough. I know a lot of, myself included, I do my writs over in Vivek, so I don't know who gets more traffic. I mean, just because we have more sales doesn't mean we get more traffic. We could just have more pricier things over there. After that, I would probably say Elden Root. I don't know if everybody would agree with me, but I would say Elden Root. I mean, that's how I bid anyway. For my backup bids is in that direction. And after that, it would be a toss-up. I mean, maybe Wayrest or Raw Call. I know Alan. Go ahead.
I was going to say, the only thing with Gratwood is it's so easy to steal the things on the counters when you're trying to interact with those guild traders. Like, I always end up stealing.
Oh, taking some meat or.
Yeah. Well, I heard there's like a Wood Elf roleplay guild that owns the meat one.
Oh, the meat market. You're talking about
the meat market. Yeah, it's the meat market on NA.
That's fun.
That name works for them because I remember when we were looking to move in over there, I couldn't take that spot because I thought it was perfect.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I can't take that from them. That's such a good spot. Like, they need that spot. So it worked on me for not bidding and wanting that spot.
I'd have bid on it. I think it'd be funny.
And Ninja Squirrels on the meat.
Yeah. I mean, squirrels are vicious. I'm just saying. I've seen squirrels eat birds.
Oh gosh.
People think they're just fluffy and cute creatures, but they can actually eat other creatures. I'm serious. Look it up.
You can make a guild called like the Vegan Market and buy it.
Oh my goodness, he's right. The luxury furniture is in Craglorn. I'll be damned.
Weird.
Yeah,
I mean,
who
no
knew?
one goes to that one, but it's in like a really weird place. It's kind of
It's
away.
in the back too. Yeah.
It's very strange.
Why they put it there? Because I guess Craglorn was an end game zone too. Like
it
Cold
was.
Harbor. Yeah.
Yep.
People still look for group there, like for
a lot of.
And I think that's why you can sell for higher prices. People like panic buying potions and whatever. And they'll just pay whatever.
It's not a bad spot for NA. Craglorn's not. And our sisters, the Samurai Squirrels, we come here often for our trader because we kind of bounce around a little bit between Wayrest and here and Bankerai. But I don't think it's definitely not as great as it used to be back when you had to do your writs here.
Speaking of spots, so wait, you would say Vivek City as well on NA? Because a lot of people keep telling me it's Mournhold now. Like, you used to be Raw Ka.
What's that, the top spot?
Yeah, the top spot, yeah.
I would say Mournhold.
Yeah.
I want to say Vivek because I want people to go through there. But I don't know. I just think that Mournhold has more sales. I might be wrong. I mean, who knows? But it's one of the two. They're the top two. I will definitely say that. It's Vivek and Mourn.
So I'm in Savage Blade. That's usually in Vivek City. And I'm in
on the Orc.
Yeah. And I would say I sell a lot faster on the Ninja Squirrels, like a lot faster. But the Savage Blade also sells fairly fast as well, in terms of listings. So Maybe it's close. Maybe Mournhold's better by margin.
Right. I don't know if Savage Blade it's a front spot, but it's kind of off to the side front spot too. So I wonder if like Feline or Dragon Lair or was it BBC? I wonder if those guilds are quicker on sales than say Savage Blade. Maybe not. I don't know if it makes any difference. And that's the nice thing about Mournhold is I don't really know if there is a front spot. You know, we went there.
There's a worse
so you
spot.
Think there is?
There's a worse spot. The cat. A lot of people hate the cat. I don't know why.
Because he has to stand up.
Yeah,
that's my
but
only issue with him.
It's like, come on,
you have to wait for him.
It's like half a second, you know.
Is that the one outside the enchanting station in the corner?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's the guy smoking from the hookah. Shisha. And
that cat
stands up and then he talks.
It's saved us though a lot of times from when we've gotten the boot from our spot. We've landed on him, so I can't be too rough.
How do you use a prime spot? Is it, do you like the look of the NPC or?
I like the look of the orc because I'm an orc, which we don't have an orc though. We have a wood elf. And when we originally moved in, Conquest, which I'm friends with that GM, he already had the orc. And I'm like, dang it. So I left it alone. And then that's when Traveling Torchbugs took a bow out and decided not to be there anymore. So I just went with the open spot. I really don't care about looks. I know there's a lot of guilds that will go for like, we only want the cat or we only want the Argonian or I've got no preference.
When a new zone comes out, how much does that relieve pressure on the system? Do you find that bid prices go down? Do they go up? Do they like spike up and then settle down lower? Because I guess it means there's more traders to go around, but unless it's a good spot. Right.
I don't think it relieves any pressure on the top guilds. People are always going to want to move into Vivec and Mourn and in Elden Root. No one wants to take the new DLC spot that no one has that not everyone has access to. I think some smaller guilds pop into those spots. So it probably helps a lot of the middle and smaller foot trafficked areas out versus some of these top guilds. No one, I mean Ninja Scrolls, Conquest, Ancient. No, I don't think you're going to see any of them heading over to the new spot.
Does the bid price for you, like where in Mournhold,
goes up?
Does it go up?
It goes up during any DLC drops or any events. It goes up because it's an event. You're going to be able to sell really well during that event. And so there's some guilds, and I won't name names, but there's some guilds that don't hang out in Mournhold all the time. And when an event comes around, they definitely will place some big numbers just so that they can have it for that week. So you definitely gotta, I mean, you should anyway, you should raise your prices during events.
Yeah.
Raise your bids.
Then I wonder what's the point if they're not, if the sales aren't making sales aren't covering the cost of the bid anyway, then what's the point? What's the point in any of it? Why are you doing this? You're making
that's
a
not
loss.
a good question.
I don't know. Just to have that spot and make a little extra gold and have some fun for the week for your guild. I don't know. I have no idea. I try to stay there always.
Yeah.
I still get nervous though during bid flips. I still get nervous.
Really?
I'm not immune. I used to not. There's been a while that I did not, and then just more recently within the last couple months, because we've had some changes over there with guilds popping up that we're like, who is this? I still get nervous. We're not immune.
Yeah, I heard there's been a big shakeup in Mournhold recently. I think Spicy's out of there now. I think there's a new guild in there somewhere.
Ancient Traders is I think on the spot that Spicy took, and Perfect Cleave, they came out of nowhere. I think they were in Vivec for a little while, and then they decided to make Mournhold their home, and I think they lost their spot a couple weeks ago. They're on the High Elf, kind of on the center circle or the inner circle, but they've been able to maintain it fairly well, with the exception of a few weeks ago. Trying to think who else. Yeah, and I do see Spicy come in every now and again, and I do see. Is it Forever Trading? I think I've seen them a couple times. Auction House, they're kind of newer to the area. I've seen them over here now on the Argonian. But Lucian, Warmart, Conquest, Ninja Squirrels, and I'm almost ready to put in Perfect Cleave in that group, but they haven't been there quite as long as the rest of us. So, but the rest of us have kind of, this is where we'd like to stay, and sure, we'll get the boot every now and then. All of us have. There's not one guild that hasn't ever lost their spot. But for the most part, we like to try to stick to our top pick.
I think until multi-bidding was the future, Warmart was the longest Mournhold trader. What I remember.
I know that they say that, and that's how they advertise. And maybe that's the case. Yeah. I don't know though. Wasn't in that guild. I know that they have. We've taken their spot a few times this year, so we're not helping that.
Wait,
he's a nice guy though. They're acquaintances. Acquaintances.
My acquaintances.
I am friends with Conquest. I am friends with Ancient. I'm acquaintances with everybody else.
Would they get mad at you if, like?
I've had guilds. I'm not saying these guys, but I've had guild leaders come to me when we've taken their spot and asked me to back off, and I just politely explained, look, we don't want to be here either. It was a backup bid. Next week, I'm pretty sure we'll get our spot back, so it'll just be for a week, but sorry, it's just business. There's not much I'm gonna change about that. So
people really approached you?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
What? Really?
Oh yeah. I've had a couple of people approach me. Yeah.
I just keep bidding on that spot then, honestly.
No.
You're saving them gold. You're doing them a favor.
Yeah, true, very true.
I'm sure they look at it that way.
Yeah.
No, I've had a few people approach me when we've taken their spot.
That's a little cringe. I don't know.
It's
like, do they not understand the system? It's like, it's just once one person guild gets knocked out, it's just a domino effect. It's like, what can you do about that? Just can't.
Right. And that's the reason of wanting to just bid on your spot. Don't bid on the other spots. But I don't think you're going to get all of us GMs to agree to that. So then it doesn't work. I mean, if not everybody agrees, then I'm not going to do it. You got to get everybody to agree to that. And good luck. I think they had that agreement before we moved in, and it was broken. People bid on each other's spots, and then arguments happened, and people got mad, and friendships were lost. And so I don't really have a, hey, I won't bid on your spot. Because I have friends, it's just kind of in my own head that I'll leave certain spots alone, and I will never bid on a spot that if I'm in their guild. I'm in a few guilds and a few other trading guilds, and I'll never bid on those spots because I'm in it, and I think that's just trashy and not very classy.
I think it's all fair game, to be honest. Honestly.
Oh man.
What? I mean, I don't know. It's just a game in the end.
Yeah,
whatever.
Sure.
Like Ollie, if like you bid on Sam's spot, I'd be like, yeah, whatever. It's the way it is. It's just a game. Not like I'm gonna sacrifice my relationship with you and be like, yeah, you took a virtual trader for a week. Now we're no longer friends, Yeah,
it really depends on people's personality. Because I don't think I'd be annoyed if someone took my spot. But I would be sad if I took someone else's spot and they got pissed off at me. That seems like I don't want to live with that drama.
Yeah.
So I think that's why I wouldn't do it. Don't know.
It's awkward. I mean, if you're friends with somebody, literally friends with somebody, and then take their spot, like, I don't want to have that conversation the following day, so...
No, exactly.
What happened?
But if they're your friend, they will understand the situation, right? It's like, what's the point of a friend then at that point? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's... Oh god, we're gonna talk about something else. I have to jog my memory now. What were we talking about before? Trigo drama. Oh yeah. So Mournhold, yeah, that was a recent shakeup, and I think also recently I got this interesting like mail in my inbox from. Yeah. It was someone from the Ninja Squirrels or something, and they were like, "We're planning to make a trade guild or something." Do you remember that, Kassandra?
What?
No.
Mutiny.
No. Was it from Ninja Squirrels? I don't know.
I don't think it was my guild.
It wasn't from Ninja Squirrels? Okay. It was probably another guild I was in. This person sent out a mail was it Guarmart? The Guarmart. Yeah. Anyway, like someone sent out this mail saying, "Oh, we're making a new trade guild, so why don't you become an investor?"
Okay, that was Guarmart.
Yeah,
that was Guarmart.
And they took. I sent them like a satirical mail back, asking for dividends and shit like that. But anyway,
oh god.
Yeah, I basically said no, and then surprise, surprise, they took a Mournhold trader
for 1 week, and then they crashed and burned. That's one of the guilds that didn't make it.
Did you make sure they crashed and burned?
No, I didn't. They didn't take my spot. So they took Lucian's, and then Lucian took mine, and then I took Warmart's.
Oh, is that what happened?
So that's what happened there. But why not go? I mean, Lucian has been... Between Lucian and Warmart, I think Lucian's probably... I don't know who's been there longer. I'm not...
Warmart.
Wasn't into trading back then,
Warmart
but one of them.
Warmart, definitely, yeah.
But Lucian, I think, has become known as a big bad guild. I mean, they've been there for a very long time. I think so. I think they've got the funds to fight. I wouldn't want to pick on them. I wouldn't want to take their spot. So I think from Guarmart's perspective, it was I'm going to go after the biggest, baddest guild over here, take their spot. And I don't think it had... That's how I looked at it. But it didn't last. So it was a big talk of GMs, Guarmart was, because of the way that they were... Yeah, they wanted people... I think they made it was a rank called Elite Guars, and they wanted people to give them anywhere from 3 to 5 mil or something, or maybe it was 5 to 10 mil, I don't remember, to be in the rank, and you got to keep that cool rank, and that gold would go to fund the trader. And if they could get 20 of those people, then they could have any spot that they wanted. So, yeah, that's how that went. But it didn't last. It's not I don't know if it's a great business plan to just have 20 people funding your trader, because if they stop playing, or they're not into trading anymore or whatever, now you've lost a few people, and it should be the whole guild should be carrying the whole guild. It shouldn't be just a few people, in my opinion.
Lucian, I know Lucian has a hand in. They're involved in the World Crown Exchange. I'm pretty sure, or at least one of their people are.
I have no idea.
Yeah, World Crown Exchange. It's a Crown Exchange server.
Yeah.
So they probably have some gold.
I just know they've been there for a very long time, and I feel like they could hold their spot. They've got a lot of great sellers in there as Ninja Squirrels, and I feel like when you lose your spot and it was because someone else booted you, not because you forgot to bid or whatnot, it rallies the troops. Guildies want to get their spot back, and so they will do anything. Let me give you gold. Let me bid on this item. Let me, we want our spot back. And I say our spot, but it's just the spot we have. I don't have any claim to it. Our name's not written on it anywhere.
It is.
But yeah, I mean, it's our top pick. I'll call it our top pick, or our first choice or whatnot. But yeah, so it rallies the troops, and I feel like Lucian has the same kind of guild mentality as. Something happens over there, their guildies want to do the same, and they've got some strong traders over there.
Yeah, the Guarmart thing, that kind of stuff I think happens from time to time. I think they probably blew all their gold on that for that 1 week, probably.
I'm sure.
Probably did have no idea what the bid amounts are. Probably didn't do the research or didn't ask around. I'm sure they blew up, at least.
Well, they did ask around. That was the sad thing. So they asked around.
What? Really?
And somebody told them, and then they took that information and used it against the person. There was a little bit of drama with that. Yeah.
Wait a minute. So someone actually told them the bid amount? That's unheard of.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Yeah. There's a few guild. No, I don't think so. No, I don't think it was Lucian. It was one of their stepping stones. I don't know if it was Eldenroot or Crag. I think they were in Craglorn too when the event happened, where the Craglorn event, you all had to go to Craglorn. Yeah, that one. So I think somebody was helping, and I'd have to go back through chats and whatnot. But that was a big topic of that guild of what's going on here, And then the person that helped him out was obviously upset. I gave him this information, and they used it against me. I mean, it's sad, but that's the consequence. It's why you don't share that info.
feel that's just common sense. I don't know if that's sad. It's just like, I don't know. That's just kind of.
I don't know. I have a girl heart. It's a little bit more sensitive.
True. Man, it's like Walmart. Yeah, that was the thing. Okay, so that's what happened. I was kind of curious why the Ninja Squirrels went to the cat.
We all just kind of got bumped around.
Yeah, domino effect again.
Yep.
But so throughout our discussions so far, like you brought up your officers quite a bit. How much of a role do they play in like the management of the guild? Is it day to day or is it like week to week?
No, it's day. I would die. I would if I didn't have officers. I would. Oh my goodness, I would cry. I would probably not have a big guild. It's not manageable. I work full time as well, and although I do work at home, I have a completely separate computer that I sit over there, and so I don't get to be on here all the time. So we have officers for a reason.
How many?
Just to help. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
5 out of including yourself. 6 out of 500.
6, yeah, if you include me.
Are they on like every day?
Yeah. I have an alt account in here, so I didn't count that account because it's me. But yeah, they're on every day. One is the GM of the Sister Guild, and then we have another. Somehow we have 2 Canadians in here. I guess we're liking our Canada friends, and then we've got 1, 2, 3 guys, and 1, 2, and myself 3 gals. So it's kind of spread evenly. They're a huge help, though. My God, I've got people who can help with bidding, so it's not all on me. So there is people that have access to the gold, including myself. It's 3 people, so 2 others. I trust them, obviously, very much. Otherwise, they wouldn't have that sort of access. But I think it's important to have some sort of trust. If you can't trust anybody, my gosh. I
mean, it's,
and then
how do you
it's a big trust.
How do you pick officers for a trade guild? Because they probably have access to the guild paying gold too, right? Or bidding.
Only 2 of them do.
Only 2. Okay, so there's no trust then.
Yes, there is. There's trust, but there's no reason to have every single officer. That's more. Somebody gets upset. You don't know these people in real life. I've never met one of these people in real life. It's gut feeling, hanging out in Discord, how long they've been around, watching them interact with people, and just trying to figure out who they are. So 2 other people have access to placing a bid and pulling gold, which means that they have all the access I have. And it's nice, though. I mean, if I can't make it to my computer, I'm out of town, or I'm too tired. Hey, can you place the bids? Like, I'm not going to get on tonight, or I'm out of town. Can you place they just take care of it. And then I have officers who help with auctions, which is a huge task. Quite a few of them have helped actually with auctions. I don't prep. Again, I'm a procrastinator, so I don't prep ahead of time with my auction. So I do it the day of on Saturdays. I get on a little bit earlier than the auction, and I start prepping right then. And I've got a ton of stuff in my mailbox that people have sent in, and then I like to grab stuff on my own, and we go shopping. And then we have the auction itself, so they help with that. And that's a huge, huge, huge help. And our raffles. Putting all those names down, we don't have it automated where an add-on just puts a name over to a spreadsheet. You got to enter the person's name and how much gold they put in, and then you've got to pull it. So we have an officer that does that. And then, like I mentioned, our trivia night earlier, we have an officer that does that. So if it wasn't, I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't have officers. It's not feasible for myself. If I wasn't working, sure, maybe. I don't think it would be as fun, though. It's nice to share the load, and I don't look at it as my guild. I've never looked at it as my guild. I look at, like, we're facilitators. We're making this happen. Like, we have the access to place the bids and whatnot. But this isn't my gold. If I were to leave the game tomorrow, I wouldn't take that gold out of the bank. That's not mine. I didn't put that in there. So it's a joint effort for sure.
Do your officers embezzle funds? Do they take?
There's only 2 in there. I was talking about this earlier. Would anybody even know? Like, I think you would have
Probably
to drain
not.
it for somebody to notice.
Would they even question it?
No, I wouldn't. Yeah, I don't even question it. If there's gold that's been taken out, there's a reason for it. But there's never been any issues like that. Thankfully, we haven't had to worry about that. I know that's happened in other guilds, though, other trading guilds, where officers get upset and they have access and they take the gold and they start a new guild,
Really?
and that's the end of that guild. Yep.
That's
happened.
That's happened? That's the first time I actually heard about this one. Usually it's external drama I hear about.
No.
Okay.
There's guilds that have split off, and these are the officers of this guild. Gosh, I can't think of the name of the guild now. They were in Mournhold too for a while, but it's been so long. Now I remember it. I don't want to call them out though.
Call them out.
Send one of your officers in undercover and get them to work their way up to officer, drain the guild bank. And
I've heard of that. I've heard of that actually.
Oh really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. But I've never heard of internal, people get pissed off at each other and then, they take.
Happens I've heard it a few times, so I know it happens. Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
How does it end up? I guess.
When this guild formed, when I said I wasn't the original leader, it wasn't on good terms, and so that was something that I was in the GM position. It was handed over to me. Mm-hmm. The gal that formed it wanted it back, but she had malicious intent to do to the guild once she got it back, and she expressed that, and I didn't like it, and I kicked her. That was that. But this is many years ago. But when that happened, there was a coup of go grab the gold, hurry. And she was trying to get people, because she wasn't at her computer, and go grab the gold, hurry. And I had to shut down access to it. I made it so everybody could still see, so that they knew I wasn't pulling the gold from it. They couldn't touch it either. So there's drama that definitely happens within this game. It's been a very long time for our guild, but
there was a conglomerate years ago. I don't know if you remember this one. It was one guy, Cyan, I think Cyan something, with his girlfriend. They owned 5 or 4 trade guilds, and one of them was Akaviri, some exchange, and or other ones.
Okay.
I think
I remember that name.
Yeah.
Exchange.
Yeah. I think what happened was eventually, because they just, I guess, kind of lost control over the people who were. Because this happened after the whole GM loophole got fixed, I guess.
Right.
And then I guess they just split off. That's the only time I've heard about that. But I've never heard of people taking the gold. That's a little scummy.
There was a husband and wife issue too, or a boyfriend girlfriend issues that they break up, or and it's the guild gets split in half, and hurry, get home first.
They take each other half.
Gosh.
Oh my god.
Oh man.
There's definitely some drama, and I'm sure that's probably not just trading guilds. I mean, there's the added aspect of the gold with trading guilds and items that are in the bank, but
where there's people, there's drama. And Ollie and I've talked about this with other people on this podcast, with at least as far as PvE goes. And there's a reason. There's an unspoken kind of not rule, I guess, tip amongst Rayleighs, probably don't take couples. So I think Ollie and I've had pretty bad experiences with couples and raid teams.
Yeah.
Because what happens usually is if one of them, there's two scenarios that typically happen. One of them underperforms, and then the criticism of that performance is often taken as an affront by their partner, and then it gets kind of out of control after that. The other scenario is if one of them leaves, both of them leave. So now you have to find 2 replacements.
Right.
Instead of 1 replacement, so.
Right.
Especially because it's always a healer and a tank as well.
The wife is healing.
Yep.
Why doesn't the wife ever tank?
I don't know.
A few times.
Yeah.
There's a French couple on EU with the female tank. I think the male was a tank as well. I can't remember. Yeah.
I guess you should just look at it as one person then.
Oh that's what you have to do.
And it creates,
absolutely you have to do that.
Voting blocks as well. Yeah, they'll always vote the same as each other, so it kind of skews the democracy a bit.
Right.
Yeah. Officer. So they're in charge of a lot of things. It sounds like a lot of work. I mean, that's an understatement, I'm sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
In the past, I've had to manage 2 trade guilds or help manage a few more, and it was insane. The amount of spreadsheets. I don't know how many spreadsheets. I don't know how many spreadsheets you have, but the amount of spreadsheets I saw, the amount of communication you needed to coordinate on bidding for traders, and also like the amount of coordination you need to do even a raffle to like determine prizes and then like calculate like if it's worth. It's just like so much work.
It is kind of like a second job. It really is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like
the rewards there though too. But yeah, there are a lot of spreadsheets. We've got spreadsheets too, and there is some work. I mean, when we do our ranking system for trading guilds, we rank based on sales and purchases. So it's not like role playing or PvP, or I don't know how they all do their rankings, but ours is trading, so it's going to be based on your sales, and that's a weekly thing. So somebody has to manually go in there and move all these people around every single week, and that's not an automated process. So it's an extra job for sure, but that's why the importance of officers is there. So not one person is doing 5 million things. You try to spread it out a little bit.
Yeah. At one point, at least for rating, it's kind of like first you go for the clears and achievements and stuff like that, but then like ultimately you end up staying because of you enjoy the people around you. Is that the same case for trade guilds?
Say that one more time.
So in like rating, the first kind of like goal for you when you start like doing trials or dungeons or whatever, right, is the achievement and skin or whatever. But then ultimately you end up staying because you enjoy just simply repeating the content with the same people, right?
Sure.
Is that kind of like the same concept with trading, you think?
Yeah, I mean, the goal of a trading guild is to make gold. I mean,
right.
And to have, it's nice that we're able to socialize as well. But I think people stick around for the guild itself. I mean, I know a lot of people take breaks, and when they come back, they reach back out. Hey, I took a break for a year. I'm back. Can I join again? And that's a great feeling, knowing that they sought us out, that they enjoyed their time when they were here playing last time, that they want to come back and be in the guild again. So I think the people that's a huge part of our guild is the people. I know that I've been in guilds where you get into the guild, and it's not just trading, it can be any guild where nobody talks. There's like nothing. It's just so quiet. You're like, okay. So I like that. I mean, Ninja Squirrels can be quiet, and that's fine, but there's a lot of chatter too, and a lot of bantering, and a lot of having fun and bouncing off each other. And it's a lot of personalities too, though. I mean, that's 496 members in here right now, and not everybody's always getting along either. You're gonna a lot of different personalities, and I never want to be anybody's mom or babysitter, and I don't want to police anybody. We don't have very many rules. I know a lot of guilds have more rules about what can be talked about in their chat, politics or religion.
Right.
I don't have any of that. Talk about whatever you want. I don't care.
What about want to sign and want to buy?
Oh yeah, that's so weird to me. Some trade guilds have told me you can't do that. You can't say WTS or WTV. I'm like, what? You know what I mean? What's
you're supposed to use that trader. I mean, what are you doing? Like that's what that trader's for.
But what if I already have 30 listings and I just want to sell extra stuff while I'm waiting for those extra things?
We don't have a rule on it at the moment, but I don't care for it because we do have a trader. Your stuff's going to sell by tomorrow. Like, do you need gold that bad where you need to sell, 200 rubinite ore in chat right now? Probably not. You're probably fine. You can probably wait till something sells. Use the trader. It's so expensive. It would blow your mind if you knew the amounts. And it helps us if you use the trader. If you're looking for something that's not on the trader, by all means, hey, I'm looking for something, guys. I don't see it on the trader. Anybody have any of this? I have a couple people actually, but one that comes to mind, a guildie who he's a sweetheart, but he's so honest that if he buys something outside of the trader, he will go put the gold in the guild bank that the tax would have been, because he doesn't want the guild to hurt in it anyway. And it's so cute to me.
What's his name? What's his name? I'm gonna invite him to the guild.
No, leave him alone.
What's his name? I need him.
No. He's very honest though, and I like that. I mean, that's a little bit of integrity there. You didn't have to do that. I would never know. Or it's not on the trader. Go for it. Go buy it off somebody. But I don't have many rules. My one rule that I have for both guilds, but mainly the Ninja Squirrels, is respect each other. You can talk about anything you want, but if that respect leaves the conversation, then we're going to have to ask you to end the conversation. So, sure, you can talk about politics, but are you going to be open-minded enough when the other side starts speaking up? If not, then the conversation gets killed. But we've done pretty good. I mean, I don't expect everybody to get along. I want them to respect each other. If somebody gets way out of line, it is nice to have other officers on where if I'm not on, hey, they took care of the issue. But there's a reason there's an ignore button in this game as well. Use it. Yeah. Please use it if it's, and I have had guildies tell me that they don't want to use it. Like, I shouldn't have to. This is my guild. Why do I have to ignore somebody? You should take care of this problem. And I'm like, well, what did they do though? Truly, sure, if they were way out of line, I'll agree with that statement. But if it's just a clash of personalities, use the ignore. I don't know.
Yeah, it's God. I feel you so hard on this subject because it's like, just like if it's like, I don't know, if it's not serious, just whatever, just move on.
Sure.
Like, just be an adult.
I feel
like so many adults in this game are so soft. Or are they even adults? I don't know sometimes. Like, just move on. I don't know. Unless it's something fucked up, before it's reported. But it's usually something benign or like it was a miscommunication. And,
yes.
I think that's why I think Discord has killed a lot of guilds in-game chat, because I think a lot of people prefer the voice-to-voice communication. Because when you're typing in text, and this happens all the time in servers and in-game, a lot of things are like mistranslated or like it doesn't carry over well. You lose the
expression,
right?
The
sarcasm, the sarcasm's not there. The joking manner's not there. It's just not there. So, but I don't know about Ninja Squirrels being quiet. Every time I'm on, I see the chat keeps scrolling like really fast down. And in fact, on my main character, I've had to like legit like just mute the chat because it would drown out everything. Like your guild talks more than zone chat.
I think it depends on the time. They're pretty quiet right now. I'm watching. Okay. They're pretty quiet right now. Right. But yeah, we can definitely get chatty. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, the opposite of that is nobody talks ever, and you need help with something, and no one helps. I mean, if you were to ask right now, like, hey, can somebody make me some training? A training sword. I need it for research. More than likely, someone's going to peep up and say, "Oh yeah, man, what you need?" Like, I gotcha. Or I need a port. Oh yeah, or I need a werewolf bite. Yeah, sure. So it's nice in that aspect.
Yeah. Going back to the one in the sell, one in the buy thing. I think that's when I see a guild say that's a red flag to me. I just leave. It's like, I don't know. It's just really weird, doesn't it?
I don't know any guilds.
You know what I mean? It's like it's like joining a raid guild, right? And being like looking for a group or making a group. Oh, you can't do that. Only raid leads can do that, or whatever, right? It's just kind of just what's the point of being in that guild? And then like for trade guilds, like for example, let's say you want to buy something, maybe that'll provoke more conversation somehow. Like, oh, I actually use that furnishing. It's pretty cool, and then it invites other people to join the conversation. I don't know. I just don't like limiting the thing. It's just weird.
So, I guess it would really depend on the situation. I typically try to ask people like, why aren't you using the trader? Oh, well, my slots are full. I think you gotta kind of. I don't have the rule.
Tax, maybe
right, exactly. I hear that though. I have heard that. Like, I don't want to pay the tax on that. Well, okay, well then, thanks for helping the guild. I don't want to help you then. Like,
yeah.
So it's got to be a two-way street of I rub your back, or you scratch mine, whatever the saying is. So, got to help each other out. I don't mind. We don't mind providing you a nice location to sell your stuff, but you got to help us as well. So.
Right, I was ranting about this the other day. So, I found out very recently. I turned on ATT, and I looked at the guild roster. I was so heartbroken. Right, there are so many zeros next to people's names and sales. I'm like, we have no dues. We bid on this trader every week for you guys. All right, and we're doing.
Because you let him do the one sell in guild chat.
Yeah, no, we do. You can say whatever you want, but we're putting the raiders are putting their blood and sweat and selling all these carries so we can fund the guild trader. You're not using a free guild trader, and you know what I mean. It's like these ungrateful bastards, you know. So how would you, in this case, how would you, in my scenario, like situation, like get people to sell, incentivize them to sell? Because I'm thinking to myself at this point, probably I do send out newsletters. Hey, well, free trader, right? But I feel like,
do you tell them about it? Like, I know when I'm open with people. Okay, that's like the first step is being open and letting them know, hey guys, no one, you know, we've got a lot of zeros in here. What's going on? Do we not want a trader? Do we get rid of it?
Right. Now I understand that we're not a trade guild, but
sure.
Like one listing, you know, just one listing. Like, I don't care what you sell. They just put a listing on like a worm, I don't know, lockpick. I don't give a shit.
They might not be there for that aspect though.
True.
They when I think of your guild, I think of raiding.
Okay.
And so if I join your guild, it's because I want to go raid. I'm going to use my trading guilds for trading. I'll use it to buy. I'll definitely, in all my guilds, I buy stuff all the time. Right. I'm in a PvP guild, though. I don't list much in that guild. I just don't. And they have a trader. And they probably think the same of me. What the heck, man? Like, I know you got stuff listed. You know, we got this trader. But I do buy raffle tickets, and I do buy from them. So I try to support it in some way. But yeah, they might not be there for the trading aspect. They might not care. True,
but you're in the guild. To me, it's kind of like, I mean, you got to participate. You know, somehow you gotta help the guild somehow. I mean, you know, this is kind of like, I don't know, especially in the patch where rating is kind of at an all-time low. It's like, what are you doing with your life if you're not listening up? Like, it's just, I don't know. It's just free. It's a free trader. It's a really good trader too. Nailwin. It's like at the very front where everyone does their writs. So it's like,
right?
Why aren't you taking advantage of this? It's so weird to me. But anyway, I do send out newsletters, right?
Okay.
But I think most people just delete that.
Yeah,
they probably do.
I'm sure people delete.
And the reason why I know this is because whenever I get mail from other guilds I'm in, I delete that shit.
Gosh, someone took the time.
All right, but at the same time, come on, you know, it's like I color coded, you know, I don't know. Anyway.
Oh Lord.
Anyway, but what? Like I don't know. I don't know how to get people to list on Trader. What would you do in this situation? In my position,
buy a better trader.
I don't know if I would do that. They're not using the one they got.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, there's no point. I think for maybe, you know, I was thinking for a Christmas gift to the guild. I was thinking like get a trader to Mournhold, you know, for just a week. Like a Christmas gift, you know. I don't know. But
Vivek, we had this conversation. Vivek, you want to get it in Vivek? Remember?
Okay.
That's a good spot.
You want to get it? Get it somewhere Christmassy, like East March. Or,
there you go.
Okay, get a Windhelm spot.
I
don't know if my like social raiding guild buys a guild trader and it's like, I don't know, somewhere outlaw refuge. I don't bother putting anything on it because there's no point.
Right.
I feel like it's not going to sell.
Well, we're not.
So I think you need a certain level of useful trader.
We're in Nailwin. We're at the front.
That's quite good. I'd probably use that.
I don't know. So I was thinking, you know, maybe I should just log on and, you know, turn on ATT again and just whisper people with zeros next to their names.
Oh, jeez.
Just be like, hey, what's up? I know this.
Maybe ask. Hey, what's going on? I have some questions. Nobody's in trouble, but I'd like to know. What are your thoughts?
I'm mostly joking
trade,
around.
No raid. Get out of here.
Obviously.
Yeah. Oh, God. But yeah. I'm going to have to figure out a way. You know. So, anyway, I guess, man, was there any... I was trying to think of questions I had thought of yesterday to ask about trading in general, or trade GMing in general. Oh yeah, there is one, actually. Sorry about the ping. But I've noticed that, is there like usually some trade guilds that, I guess, I don't know if you have this in the Ninja Squirrels, is there like a personality cult sometimes? Like, you know what I mean? Like J Hard has like Spicy, right? And if, like, he's a content, but I think there's a kind of difference. Okay, here's the thing though. I think for him it's unique because he's a content creator, he's a streamer too. So like it naturally, like, you know what I mean, like focuses around a lot of the things he does for the guild on his stream. So he promotes the stream and it becomes more about him than it is about, like, you know, the whole trading aspect, if that makes sense. I don't know if that's like the only case. Like, is there like a cult of personality for Kassandra in Ninja Squirrels? Like, when people see you online, are they like, "Oh, it's Kassandra! Oh my God, I want an autograph or something"?
Do people want to join the guild for you?
Because
surely,
you know, one of your trade guild officers, Becca, I think you know her, right?
I think I know her.
Yeah, I think you know her.
It's a
Right?
girl.
Like, apparently she tells me that no one like recognizes her as an officer in the guild. I'm like, that's kind of weird, but okay, sure. But do people recognize you as a GM? Because most people probably, a lot of people probably join the trade guild just to sell things, right? Not really.
Correct. I don't think they joined for me. No, I don't think. I think people that would know me obviously would just be my guildies. I don't think I have the brand recognition of, say, J Hard, because I don't stream. It's not my thing yet. Maybe I will one day.
Maybe.
But yeah, no, I don't know. I do know that other GMs happen to know who I am, but I put myself out there. I'm in Discords that are chock full of GMs, so we kind of, when we run across each other, we know who each other are. So I don't think anybody's joining just for me, though. Not at all. They're joining because it's a great trading guild, and I think people know who the Ninja Squirrels are. I will say that. I think that's has its own little brand, but not for me. God, no. I hope not. That's awkward to me. Cringe. I don't want that.
You don't want that? You don't want the cold personality cult?
No, I'm good.
But do people recognize you when you're online in the guild, or like they're just like?
Yeah, people. Oh yeah. I mean, when I get online, it's hey, boss is on, or oh hey Cass, hi, how's it going, or hey Cass, how was the wedding, or hey Cass, like they say hi. So yeah, I definitely get people to say hi to me. For the officers, I think people. It depends. We're not doing like I said, we haven't had an auction probably 2 weeks now. The more auctions that we do, I think Becca's more chatty during that time. Obviously, she's doing an auction. So I think when once we start getting back into that theme, or that what's the word? I don't know. Once we start doing that more, people are going to know they're going to start recognizing. Oh, hey, Becca, hi. I think Sand gets a little bit that. Sandley's one of the officers as well. I think she gets that. But it's all about how much you put in as well, how much you chat in the chat. Even for myself as well, people have asked me, like, oh, how do you make such a great guild, or how do you become successful, or how do you make your guild chat? Like, my chat's so dead, and I see that yours is chatting. How do you do that? And it's almost it's what you put into it, and what your officers put in, and what the people put into it. If you're never going to talk in that guild, well, they're not going to either. If you're not going to be friendly, they're not going to be friendly either. If you're going to be always down and grumpy, and they're going to be the same way. Like, they're going to mimic you. So the more that you put into it, the better the guild's going to be. And I think the officers have done a great job of that. People talk, and so now they talk back, and it's just what you put in. If you don't put in much, you're not going to get much. So
okay, that's fair. That's good advice, honestly.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know. That's interesting. So no personality cult of Sandra.
Nope.
Not yet.
I don't have anything. Not yet.
But when you say you put yourself out there, like you mentioned Discord servers, is that just mostly with the GMs, the other GMs?
Yeah.
Or like, oh, okay.
Yeah. So I mean, it's not for just guildies running around or players running around. I talk to other GMs, so other GMs are going to know who I am, and vice versa. I'm going to know, oh, okay, I know who that is. The more that you talk.
When you send your death threats, if you take my photo, you're done.
Oh, but yeah, going back to the Ninja Squirrels thing, like a lot of people tell me like Ninja Squirrels is like making a lot of gold, or is one of the biggest trade guilds, and that's why I asked you earlier in the discussion, like what's the largest guild in terms of sales? I don't think we ever answered that, or I guess you never answered that.
I want to say it was 2 something. I'm asking right now. My bookkeeper's on, my accountant, my spreadsheet gal. I want to say it was 2 something, 2 point something billion, but
2 point something billion in sales a week.
For 1 week, that was our sales competition. We don't normally do that. Typically, we're over 1 bill, and like I said, lately it's kind of been in the 800, 900K range. So just for the decline of players, and I don't know, maybe it'll come up this week because of the Witches Festival, but I tend to notice during event weeks we go up. I think that's probably true for most trade guilds.
Okay. I'm just really curious who the best trade guild is. Because it's like in PvP and PvE, you kind of know who the best guilds are or teams are. I'm just wondering if there's anything similar.
Because they don't shut up about it.
Yeah, that's a lot of them want to tell you about it.
Why would Trade Guild shut up about it though, Ollie? Like that's good
That's
advertising.
true, yeah,
like
trade
#1 trade guild on PCNA, #1 in sales every week. You know?
Yeah, I don't know if you can rank that. I mean, you got to know what the other guilds are. So I know there was for a long time people that would have their alts join the other guilds so that they could get that data. That's the only way of knowing, unless you want to go ask the other GMs, what was your sales this week? So.
I think if you like shout it long enough, people will correct you if you're wrong. And if people don't correct you, you're right.
Yeah. I'm looking right now. I'll find the number.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure my group got world first stamina Griffin art, but only because I can't find a video of someone doing it before us. Well, I'm almost certain someone must have done, because it's not that complicated. But if no one else challenges you, take the time.
Right. Yeah, take it. 2.1 bill. It was 2,136,713,094. Yeah.
It's a lot of gold in sales.
I think the record was 1.3 or 1.4, maybe somewhere in there. That is from people advertising that they were top in sales, and nobody was challenging them. Same, like what you were just saying.
Right. I'm doing that math for that real quick for sales tax.
74.
70, yeah, basically 74 million gold.
Yep.
That's a lot of gold.
And that still doesn't cover our bid.
Oh, that's insane.
Yeah.
I
don't think it ever does. I don't think there's you would have to, and that's not an achievable number every week. Not right now anyway, not with the way our economy is and players. So I don't know if anybody ever meets their bid just on taxes alone. I don't think it's possible.
Okay. Oh man. Before we move on to questions from the viewers, we haven't really talked too much about the samurai squirrels. It's not as prominent as the ninja squirrels, but what kind of trade guild is the samurai squirrels? Are they in? They're not Mournhold level, right? They're I've seen them in Wayrest, I think, at one point.
We've been in Wayrest, and that's where we try to stay. Our backup is usually Belkarth, and then Bankerai Evermore. That's another one. It's not a top location by any means. I mean, Belkarth and Wayrest are much better, but I would consider that guild. If you don't want and I don't think our quotas are very hard to meet, but I'm not the average. I mean, not all players think like me. So if you think that's too hard to maintain, then the Samurai Squirrels would be a great alternative because it's a monthly quota. It's a lot more lax. We don't kick anybody out as long as you're trying a little bit. I think the people that get removed from that guild, it's more for inactivity, and it's even a longer period over there too. It's a lot more lax, but you still get a great trader usually. And it is a little bit quieter though. It's more of a chill guild. It's a lot quieter, but when people need help, I still see people stepping up and, oh yeah, I can do that. So it's not people getting ignored, but it's the whole point of it, in my eyes, when I first created it, was to help people get to the point where they could then switch over to Ninja Scrolls. And I think it's then evolved into more of we get you never want to be a crazy, 300 million sales every single week person. We get that you want to be more chilled, more relaxed, and not have to keep up with those numbers. So I think it's evolved into that, which I think is great as well, to have that alternative.
Yeah, I think that's great. I think having a transitionary step, like a stepping stone, is pretty good.
Do you share a Discord, or is it
We do.
Okay. So the community is almost one, right?
Yeah, and we share a Discord and a guild house. And so I run into the guildies from both guilds all the time just by going into the guild house, and I'm glad it gets used because I know there's I know when I first started out and I made a guild house, I was like, well, cool, I have all this stuff, no one ever comes here, so it gets used now. It's definitely changed, which is good.
Oh man, the guild house, how are you doing on your space, your furnishing slots at this point with the crafting stations?
Man,
we're 7 slots away from 700. We have to take something
it's
out.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Which house do you use? The elsewhere one.
Which house do I use?
Yeah, for the guild house.
I use the Princely Dawnlight Palace.
Okay.
I've been there a few times because I'm a winner. Yeah, I won the auctions. Or not the auctions, but the lots.
Yep, we have our auctions. We host it in guild chat, and if you win, we ask that you port over to the guild house and trade your stuff over. So you'll have to come to the guild house for that. But it's I don't like the attunables. I feel like that's one thing that the game is lacking. I feel like you could have one set, one clothing station, one blacksmithing, one jewelry, and one woodworking, and then you can just attune that same station and have a drop-down menu where there's an arrow and you click which set you want to use instead of having, I mean, what is that, a sweatshop out there? Like, there's so many stations.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous. Yeah.
I would love it if they could condense it somehow, or like consolidate it somehow.
I don't get it.
Really
it's
bad.
awful.
They have to eventually do it because every second and fourth quarter they keep adding craftable sets. That's a total of 6 craftable sets every year. That's 6 times 4. That's 24 tables every year. Oh, that's a lot of tables. Not just not enough space if you want other stuff in there too. Okay, but just to clarify, what are the quotas for the Ninja Squirrels and Samurai Squirrels?
So the main 3 ways for Ninja Squirrels is you sell or buy 250k a week, you deposit 20k into the guild bank for raffle tickets, or you come along for a minimum of 30 minutes on our farm run.
Right.
It's Thursday nights. If you can't make Thursday nights, we have other people who will just go farm on their own for 30 minutes and then send me the items. That works too. And then we give away really cool things on the farm run too. It's not just about, hey, give me all your stuff. We make it competitive. So we break it up into 4 rounds for 30 minutes each, and it's kind of fun. The first round will name off an item to be on the lookout for. So like mundane runes. Whoever collects the most mundane runes at the end of round 1 wins a prize at the end, and it's usually crowns. And so we do it like that. Not everybody joins. Some people join. It's fun. For Samurai Squirrels, it's monthly, like I said earlier. It's 200k a month in sales or purchases, or 50k in raffle tickets a month. So,
to be fair,
yeah.
How do you? The quotas seem pretty low for the Ninja Squirrel. What was 20k?
They are.
I've seen other guilds do like 50k. Same city or similar cities.
Right.
Did they just do less auctions maybe, or less raffles?
I don't know.
Arbitrary. I don't know.
I have no idea how other guilds come up. We started off with no quota with our little baby Hoarfrost Downs Rivenspire spot, and then we enacted our first quota, and it was sell 5k in stuff or put in 1k in raffle tickets, and we lost 1/4 of our guild because of a quota. Like it was mind blowing. 1k, that's it. 1k a week, or 5k in sales, and people were like, "No, that's horrible." They did not like it. We lost a lot of people over it, and then I don't know, 6 months, 8 months went down, and we doubled it. Oh god, 2k now. Yeah, 10k. So they did not like it. I get it when you're first starting out, it makes no sense. Why is this guild asking for my gold? You have to explain it. You have to explain what the purpose is. It's not because we just want your gold. So we'd slowly gone up, and we're now at the 20k or 250k, and we've been at that for quite a while. And actually we switched to monthly for a long time. Ninja Squirrels did. We were a monthly deal where you only had to come up with a monthly quota, but it got to the point where people weren't selling anything or participating in the raffle at all for that full 30 days, and I couldn't do anything about it until the end of the month. So it was like, this isn't working. Our traders weekly, not for this guild. So Samurai Squirrel still has the monthly in it, and it works, and it's great for that guild. But for Ninja Squirrels, the bid's outrageous, and we need to stay weekly, and it allows us to make room for active players and active traders. But yeah, I think we are a lot lower than a lot of the other guilds. I think our auction allows us to stay lower, and I will try to keep it at that amount. I'll try not to raise it for as long as I can.
Okay, that's fair. But yeah, that seems pretty low.
I can raise it. I'll just let him know. Nefas said we're raising our dues. So
Honestly,
no
I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind. Yeah, go ahead. Go for it. Man. Okay, so I guess we'll be taking some questions from the viewers. We'll just kind of wrap it up. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, this is a good one. What are your solutions to the gold inflation? If you could solve it somehow.
I don't know if I can. I don't know if you can. Anybody can.
I think we can.
How do you think we can?
Gold sinks.
We have our bidding system and our housing system are the two biggest gold sinks in this game, though.
So the guild as an entity is not. It's not the exact sum of the population, if that makes sense. So you can only fit at most 500 people into one guild, right? And the problem with the inflation of gold is the fact that most people, or a lot of people, at least I know, aren't really spending the gold. They're kind of just holding on to the gold. That makes sense. When I mean spending the gold, I mean like it going back into the system. So, for example, with crown exchanges, right? What happens is you're not actually spending gold. You're just giving the gold to another player,
to another person, right? And that's why I didn't list crowns as a gold sink.
Right.
Now, if you're, but the trader bids, that's one big gold sink, and the housing, that's, I mean, you're buying furniture, you're buying blueprints, you're buying the house with gold. That is a big gold sink. I get. What other gold sinks would you add if you could? I couldn't even think of anything.
With housing, though, not everyone does housing.
True.
True. Yeah. People do have houses, but they don't really do housing. Like I have houses. I don't really do housing. It's just like I don't really go looking for all the diagrams. I don't go looking for materials for housing unless I have to for some reason. In the past, how many years has it been since Homestead? 6 years. The past 6 years, the most I've spent on housing is like 2 weeks ago where I spent 30 more gold on those street paintings. So I'm still
there's guilds that are just for housing. Like, there's really into people that are really into housing. I mean, we joke about it being the end-game content of the game because of how much gold you can really put into it. So I don't know. I mean, you're right. Not everybody does, though. That's true.
Right. What about mount training? Mount training seems really cheap.
But when you first start off, you have a lot of
no,
gold.
I don't care. Make it 100k.
Oh God!
Screw those guys.
Screw the little man. Jeez.
And then you can say, "Oh, fashion's a gold sink too," but there's a lot of players like me. We don't really care about fashion. I mean, we also say fashion's endgame, but not everyone cares about fashion.
Right.
People like polymorphs or whatever. But I think for gold sinks, it has to be something almost universal. What if there was a gold sink for mounts? Like actual unique mounts? Like, I mean, every week, like a luxury vendor version of mounts. What if there was a luxury vendor version of skins? What if there was a...
Pets,
What if you bought transmutes for gold? You know what I mean? That would be a huge gold sink if you could buy transmutes crystals for gold. I don't know what the rate would be, but it would certainly be enough to be a gold sink where none of the gold goes to the players and just goes back into the system. And I think a big part or reason as well why inflation's so bad, at least on PCNA, compared to PC, is because of the population. So population in PCEU is at least triple that of PCNA. So the more people you have, right, the more goods there are and the more gold there is present.
Right.
That's why their gold value is so insanely low, which is... I don't know, like, for example, their crown rate right now? What's their crown rate right now, Holly?
It was 3.
Here, let me look, actually, as well, while you're...
Might be less.
Okay, PCU, someone's selling crowns for, like, 3,250 to 1.
Yeah.
CNA on Tamriel Crown Exchange, they have it 1,500 to 1.
Yeah, so it's about 1,300 to 1,500 on NA. On EU, people are trying to sell for like
insane.
3,000 plus or 2,000 plus.
Insane. I thought we were more. Wow, I didn't know that. That's insane.
Yeah. PCU is a lot higher. And the reason is gold is not as valuable on EU as compared to NA in terms of that, at least in terms of the crown rate.
So I suppose the weekly used to kind of be a gold sink, but now with like the sticker book, you can just and transmute stations, you can transmute all that stuff.
Right.
You don't need to buy like a shoulder or a helmet for 250k. There's no point.
Eventually, once you drain enough gold, I feel like from economy, it's like I think rates will at least stabilize or go down, because you won't be able to afford everything. That makes sense. But yeah, I don't know. That's my solution. My opinion. But maybe it won't work. Who knows? Maybe I don't know.
It might. I mean, I don't know if they ever do anything like that. I don't think they see an issue.
I think multi-bidding was kind of their band-aid, for sure.
Yeah, that helped.
A little,
but I mean, it's the same thing though. It's just one bid. It just takes gold out of the game for a day, or I guess it depends on when you place your bids. But
yeah. All right. What are Kassandra's thoughts on removing combat ratio passives?
God, Kassandra is not somebody you asked that question to. I have got no thoughts on that. Brain is empty.
I guess as an extension of that question, like, what do you typically do apart from managing trade guild? Like, do you like PvE? Do you like PvP? Do you like
I like PvE. I like PvE. I like healing. I like when I go and do difficult content, I like to heal. So I guess I'm in that couple of the healer that we were discussing earlier. But I also like to tank. I can tank too. Yeah. I am shite for DPS. I never learned it. I just never did. I never got into DPSing. I know there's a lot of people out there that love it, and it's not me.
Okay.
And I'm okay with that. That's not my strong suit. I'm good. I can tank and I can heal.
Are you doing normal, veteran, hard modes, dungeons?
I've done
trials?
veteran, and I've done a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have a cool Godslayer title above my head right now, but I mean, I do have the fishing achievement, and I got that back when fishing was actually hard. So I don't know what's harder, the fishing achievement.
Fishing was hard.
Yeah, I mean, before you had foods and drinks and C3 passives, and God, they made it so easy now. So
it took me 2 weeks straight just to.
Yeah. It's. I mean, I got it back when there was a time right in the beginning that it was easy because you could trade the rare fish, and then you could just knock it off your system. I didn't fish during that time, so I didn't get to take advantage of that. But they fixed that, and anyway, I just don't DPS, so I don't know if I have an answer for that. I'm sorry.
It's the Imperial Gold one, the 1% that doesn't affect trading, really, does it?
The Imperial passive for gold making? Gold. That's only from I think turning quest plus like Brits and like monster kills, right? When you pick up loot.
There's no like meta class.
Meta class for trading? Oh.
For trading? No.
Oh, maybe a class with major expedition or like streak for Sork. You can zip around the traders. I don't know.
Yeah. There's no passives.
Okay. Let's see. What's your favorite thing about being a trade guild master?
God, that's a good question too. I don't think anybody's ever asked that. I like teaching and I like welcoming new people. I like teaching them how to make gold. I like the social aspect of it. I like leading events, putting together events. So all the leadership stuff that comes with it, I enjoy that. Giving stuff away. Having the gold at your fingertips from the guild bank and just going and pulling a mill out and buying a bunch of motifs and then just giving it away to the guildies for fun. That's fun. Getting to know my guildies. Some of them I know quite well. They've been with the guild for a very long time, and I know about their families. I know what they like. I mean, some of these Discord conversations we've gotten, chatted with people and developing those relationships. I really enjoy that too.
Okay.
Nothing crazy, I guess. I don't have any fun, crazy answer. Yeah, making gold. It's my favorite thing.
Getting rich. Yep.
Sniping people.
Taking over traders. Yeah. I've got a couple spies over there, and no. It's not a game of chess over here.
Let's see. Who's this one? Oh, do the guilds that approach you about when you take their spots, inevitably, do they ask for compensation for taking their spot? What did how did the conversations go? I guess.
No, they don't ask for compensation.
Oh, okay.
It's more of a, hey, that's our spot. We love it. We've developed a liking to this specific trader for reasons, and I don't want to say too much about the conversation because I think it'll give the guild away.
Yeah.
And I don't want to do that.
Would you give them compensation to avoid like a guild war?
A guild war? What?
No, I don't think I would. I literally always tell them it's the same thing. Look, I don't want to be here either. I get it. It's your spot. My spot's over there. I'm going to fight for it. I'm sorry, but I'm going to keep backup bidding here too.
Isn't that just insulting them? Like, your spot isn't even good enough to be my first spot. You're just my backup spot, and I still want it off you.
That should tell them something, that their bid is a lot lower. Like, I would think I would use that information and be like, oh shoot, or maybe like be thankful that I've been getting it for so cheap, and saving some money. Yeah, but nobody compensates. I'm not compensating anybody. Sorry.
Good.
I'll try to get off there as soon as possible, though. I promise. We don't want it.
You're pathetic. Second choice.
No. Yeah.
I don't know. I would never do that. That's so weird to me.
To compensate? Yeah.
No, not that. Just an approaching.
Approaching somebody else.
Can you get off our trader? No.
I think you just double down and just tell them how much they suck.
I think you just keep bidding on the spot, honestly.
God.
Yeah.
Let's see. Any hopes for the next chapter? What would you like to see as a trading guildmaster? Or as a player, I guess.
Well, we touched on the housing. I mean, that helps the guild. Yeah. If we had some more housing limits, I'd love that. Just so our guild house could look a little prettier. I enjoy the companion stuff. That's cool. I mean, I don't necessarily use it as often as others probably do, but I think it was a fun aspect to add. I liked the game, the taught game. I think that was something new and different. I don't necessarily play it every day, but it was just something new and different, kept the game alive. I like the direction that the game is going in, as far as it's always giving us new content. Sure, there's a lot of stuff that they can fix, and I've heard those struggles and wishes, and I agree with them wholeheartedly. But I still like that we're getting new content. It's not the same thing over and over. There's new areas to explore. The storylines to this game are really unique, and the voice actors are great. And I don't know if any other game really has much of that. So I enjoy it. I don't know. I keep doing what they're doing. I do wish that they would fix some stuff. I know the DPSs and the last update, I don't know if that was for the best. It's not affecting me personally because it probably will here shortly, but I wasn't playing hard content during the summer months, so I guess I'll get to see how that really affected me playing as a healer coming up here in the winter. But I don't know. I new content, I like it, so keep doing that.
Okay. All right, I think this is the last question for all of us. What are other good spots besides Mournhold for trading guilds? Honestly, I'd say like the top 3 on PCNA right now, in my opinion, is Mournhold, Vivek, and Leowen. I don't really know. I mean, I guess Elden Ring is fine too, but like I feel like the AD zones.
Fine.
Yeah. I think the AD zones kind of fell off. I don't know. I haven't heard much about ETU. ETU used to be actually the best trade guild like a while back.
I'm in that guild. I'm friends with that GM. Yeah. I like that guild.
They're chill.
They're roll call still. I think they're what's keeping roll call to the status that it's at. I think if ETU went somewhere else, roll call I don't think would be as great. I think they're one of the main reasons. There's another guild over there that I'll give credit to as well, but I think ETU that was what I looked up to when I first started this guild. It was, man, how do I be like ETU? They're amazing. Like that was the number one guild in my head as well, and they do an amazing job. It's still very chatty, and I don't know, but I don't know if roll call's up there anymore. I don't think it is, unfortunately. It's a great guild. I won't take that from them at all, but I don't know if that location's as great as it used to. And I know they've had discussions about possibly moving, but I would say I would agree with you, Mournhold and Vivek. I would go to Elden Root for third, but past that, it gets a little hairy. Leywin could be up there. Even Somerset, Alienware is a great spot. So there's some other good ones.
I feel like Markarth in the Reach is very underrated because those traders are right there, but no one seems to. They're not competitive at all.
I agree with that too. They're right off the trader, or right off the Wayshrine.
Yep.
I'm saying Leyland because, and it's not that I'm being biased, but like we also had a I'm serious. We had our first trading competition ever, and in September, and for the month of September, we made almost 1.3 billion gold.
Yep.
It's not a trade guild, and out of the 500 people on the roster, probably about 400 have been on in the past like couple weeks, and probably like 90% of those people don't even use a trader. If you're listening, please use a trader. And the fact that we still made a 1.2 billion too, I mean, it's like, I think it's a pretty popular spot. I think a lot of streamers go to Leyland. I've seen a lot of streamers go there and do their writs. So
yeah, it's a good place to do your writs.
Yeah, it's S tier next to FFXIV for writs, in my opinion. Oh.
No, it's decent. It was really great when it first came out. I know everybody was there, and I still think it holds some value as well. I don't think it's a crap spot. I think it's decent.
Yeah.
What is the most secret vendor in Tamriel?
Secret?
Like the hardest to get to, or what?
God, there's one that doesn't even show on the map. It's awful. I feel so bad for it.
Like the most unknown.
I wonder if that's what they're asking. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, probably.
The Hughes Bane one sucks. Like, why do people buy those?
So
I was lame.
I have hit Princely, so I have to just port to the outside of my house, and then I can hit those traders right there. Otherwise, I agree, it's crap. But it's horrible. Yeah, you have to run so far.
Our first trader was the Outlaw Refuge, the Quest Outlaw Refuge in Outlaws Landing, Bali. It was good. It was actually pretty good because it was the first DLC or second DLC.
Yeah.
Or third. Yeah.
Like Mournhold's Outlaws Refuge, no one's buying.
Mournhold Outlaws. That's another thing. So they get bugged. The Outlaws Refuge, for whatever reason, they get bugged, and like we see an open trader, there's nobody on it, so we're like, hey, open trader over here, and the person will run over there to put money on it, and it's bugged. You can't place any money on it. It's open, there's no guild there, but you gotta wait like a day for the game to like catch up and realize it's those Outlaws, they're messy.
Speaking of bugs, you remember that multi-bidding bug on EU?
Yeah, it didn't happen on NA, but I remember that
was hilarious.
God, what a mess.
Oh yeah, it was hilarious. But anyway, what's your favorite orc in the game? This is the last question.
Favorite what?
Orc in the game. Orc.
Mine?
Yes. Stuga.
No, I'm answering it. Mine.
Oh, yours. Oh, your orc. Okay.
My character.
I'm going to say...
Stuga, yeah.
Yeah, Stuga's good. Like,
if I didn't do an NPC.
From a Bumnog. There's a fucking orc called Bumnog, which just sounds like sort of like a terrible Christmas cocktail or something. Yeah. I was in Glenumber or something. Like the Harpy quest called Bumnog. Sounds absolutely gross.
But yeah, I guess that's the last question, and we'll wrap it up there.
Yeah. So if people want to join the Ninja Squirrels, how do they go about that?
We are on the Guild Finder tool. You can do it that way. I know you can walk up to I believe you can. I don't have an open spot, but I believe you can walk up to the trader itself. And I feel like, is there an option if you have an open slot to like apply through the trader?
No, I don't think.
I haven't had enough. Okay. So the Guild Finder would probably be the best, easiest way. We try to get people in pretty quick. If you apply to a whole bunch of other guilds too, and you get accepted over there, then we can't add you. You can only have 5 guilds at a time. So, but I would say Guild Finder is probably the best way to get in. Yeah. And please state that you can meet our quota, because blank apps will be declined.
I had to apply, and I got in. My application was the best application, honestly.
Oh boy. I feel like you might have had a little help getting in.
No,
not at all. Okay.
Because Becca was like, "Oh, don't apply." I'm like, "No, I'm gonna stick to the system." There are rules for a reason, but okay. So Guild Finder. All right. Is there social media for the Ninja Squirrels?
We actually do have a Facebook.
Oh, really? Okay.
Facebook.
What's the link?
We do.
What's the link?
Nice.
I don't know if it's not open to the public, so you'd have to like ask to be in it. And then our Discord server. I like our Discord server. It's Well, you know how to get into Discord. So discord.gd/squirrels. So pretty easy.
What? You got /squirrels? Wow.
Yeah, when you're
Squirrels.
Well, I think Nefas would. Are you boosted on your Discord? I didn't even check. I have no idea how. But if you boost up far enough, you're able to pick your own vanity URL. So.
Yeah, but I feel like
people have taken that though.
Isn't unique.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, nobody wanted it. We got it.
Okay.
I'll pay you $10 for it.
No.
Okay. Wow.
He is obsessed with squirrels. You're
yeah,
right.
I told you.
No, never.
Yeah, thank you so much for spending your time with us. I know you're a really busy person.
Thank you so much.
And
no
it's great to hear finally from a trade guildmaster about what trade guilds are like. Finally, and clarifying some misconceptions here and there. Appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right. Have a good one,
See
guys.
you.
Bye, guys.